this stream.
Can you hear me breathing through my nose hairs? Because sometimes I hear that on podcasts.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, we're live. What's
All
up?
right.
What's up,
Whoa.
Luke? What's up, Luke?
Hey, Eric, how you doing, buddy?
Yo.
Good, man.
Hey, Kano.
What's up, guys?
Kano.
Yep.
We have a special guest in the house.
Yep.
But first, we didn't even say this is Robot and the Bear, episode 21.
21.
Wow. Did you think we were going to get this far?
Yes.
Okay, I did too. No big deal. We got here.
Yeah.
Didn't matter how, but we did.
No.
So, yeah, we got Kano in the house. Very exciting.
Yes.
But
All
first,
right.
let's get to our top fives.
Oh, you want to start?
I'll start. Sure.
Yeah.
I still have to give props. San Diego Comic-Con just got back. We had a very busy one, busier
Yeah.
than normal, from what I understand. But part of it was having Katya Terada in the booth behind us.
Nice. Is that your number one?
I'm just putting that as number one since I just got back yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was a busy time, had a good time, and all that stuff. So that was still number one.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll probably go back to talking about Comic-Con. I
Oh,
imagine.
yeah. No, this is going to be
Okay.
a Comic-Con
Yeah.
wrap-up.
Okay, so we'll keep that. And then number two, I got to give props to Big Kitchen. It's a restaurant in San Diego in South Park neighborhood.
Mm.
We have breakfast there every year, twice during Comic-Con for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they know us now. We go there and they're like, "Oh, it's that time of year," type of thing. kind of like that. And place is awesome. It's like, I think it's been open since 1980,
Oh.
but it's just like a breakfast place, but
Oh,
really cool,
nice.
neighborhoody, cool. Number three, the Super Annie art show I have at GR2, featuring the Super Annie, many of the Super Annie team. Super
Nice.
Annie is, I still don't know what that means though.
Is it a collective?
Yeah, it's Super Annie's like a collective or business, I guess you would say.
It's a great looking show.
Yeah, just a lot of drawings, and they have a consistency in style of some sort. Maybe it changes here and there a little bit. There's
It's figurative and
Yeah.
it's comic booky, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
yeah, a lot of drawings. So,
Mm-hmm.
yep. And also the event, Kim Jung-gi came and signed for 2.5 hours, and he supposedly was too busy. Like he was going to show up for a half an hour or an hour, and then stuck around for 2.5 hours and just
Fan service.
kept signing and kept signing and kept signing, and then finally he was like, "Okay, I got to go.
Does he speak English?
I got to go." Something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was cool. So I got to give thanks to Mr. Kim Jung-gi and the Super Annie team. Number four, I have, I have Katya Terada this weekend. He's actually still in America, and he's going to do a signing this weekend on Sunday here,
Oh.
which will be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got a new book. That's the whole thing. He's kind of got a
Yeah.
little mini book tour going on. So
Fantastic.
he's currently in Wisconsin at an air show doing live. He's doing some art there.
He's in Wisconsin right now?
Yeah, there's an air show there, and they're flying a Nausicaa plane, like the
Oh,
plane.
yeah.
Yeah, somebody made that. It's actually flying. Flew supposedly today. I hope it didn't crash because I didn't follow it. But yeah, the plane actually is supposed to fly.
Did they bring
today.
it from Japan to there? Or?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's why he's there, and he's doing some art, live art probably or something like that.
And Nausicaa is like required viewing for like the Studio Ghibli thing.
And required reading if you're into the manga.
Oh, the manga's so much better.
Yeah, the manga's amazing. So definitely check out Nausicaa.
Mm-hmm.
And then number five, I have Theo Ellsworth starting soon, August 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Theo Ellsworth back. He's back from Montana.
Was he in Montana?
That's where he lives. He actually lives in Montana.
Then he just shows up in California, does an art show, and then goes back to Montana?
Yep. So I have this great distinction of showing an artist from Montana. Not a lot of people can say that, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You said he's starting. Like, is it an installation or
Oh,
something?
no. It starts August 3rd. And
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
that type of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's an art show, but should be fun. Anyways, that's a quick top five because I want to get to yours, and maybe that'll spark some more discussion on Comic-Con because
Well,
that was epic.
I'm changing mine a little bit because I know we're going to be talking about Comic-Con, so I just don't want to burden. I want to plow through the top fives. So we didn't do a show last week because of San Diego Comic-Con, but the weekend before I was in Connecticut visiting a friend, and I went to Louis' Lunch. Now, Louis' Lunch has been featured in like all kinds of crazy travel videos and stuff like that as the home of the hamburger. And
it is?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like been around since 1895 or something like that. And when you go in there, they have these crazy like over 100-year-old broilers that stand vertically, and they put like 4 patties of beef inside there, and there's flames on both
You know
sides.
what? I've seen this. Now that you mentioned it, all this now has come back to me. I've seen it on video before.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
And they serve it on white bread
Holy
with
shit.
no condiments, and it's like a sliver of onion and a tomato, and I don't do tomato, so for me it was only a sliver of onion. And for cheeseburgers, they put on a spreadable cheese because the cheese won't like melt in their vertical grill, things.
I
And
saw this video, dude. All this.
But wait, you didn't just go out there for that, did you?
no,
He went out there to see this friend.
Oh, okay,
no,
okay, okay.
no. So and
And Louis Burgers was an extra.
yeah, and let me tell you something: the hype is real.
So does the burger beat your friend?
No,
Oh, okay.
but
all right. Just wanted to know.
no, but the burger like left a crazy impression on me because I saw there's that show, the Burger Show. It's on like the same channel that I think
Right.
that does the
That guy was at Comic-Con.
oh really the big guy.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, you saw him?
I saw him in pictures afterwards. I think he was throwing some stuff off of the WB Tower thing,
Oh,
but he was there.
okay. Well, like I love his show kind of, and I don't really care for this current season because it's all like celebrities and fucking burgers. I don't need no fucking celebrity with my fucking burger. But like he did a Connecticut tour, and I was like, and so I did that same tour.
Oh,
and
nice.
Except for I didn't do the steamed burger, but like, yeah, that burger left an impression on me.
Wow.
Yeah. So my number 2 is a place called Nude Bar in San Diego. We went there twice, 2 days in a fucking row, and it was that good. It's like
Wow.
right next to a place that I really wanted to try called The Friendly. Apparently, they're known for their pizzas and their burgers, and I didn't try either of them because after eating at Nude Bar, I was so full that I just couldn't.
How could a place be known for both pizza and burgers?
I don't know.
It sounds like no way you can do both. You can get one, but you
No.
can't get
Yeah.
They do both, and Bill McMullen, or was it
Billions.
was espousing the glory of their hamburger, and I really wanted to try it, but after eating again at Nude Bar, it's NOOD, like noodle but
Right.
nude. So yeah, that place is great. My number 3 is Ghost Bear, the toy we released at San Diego Comic-Con.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats, man.
People think it's very cute. I agree.
I think so.
It's very cute.
I got one.
You did, yes, you did. When Patrick came by.
Yeah.
My number 4 is a sad one. It's the Kyoto Animation arson. That was, a real bummer. I actually watched some of their, anime, and so, that sucks.
That's a crazy story of what the guy did too.
Yeah.
Like he put gasoline in the stairwells so people couldn't escape or leave.
Right.
Yeah, and then what is it? Those that tried to get to the roof couldn't because there was just a log jam, like probably smoke, and somebody like collapsed, and then people just couldn't get around the people and get to the door to open the door.
It's crazy.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, and what was this whole thing behind it? He was saying that they took a story of his that was
A
that
word,
his
right? It was a word he thought he coined, and then it was used by that company for something else.
Oh,
like
really?
Completely different, meaning of the same kind of word.
Wow.
He just made up a word, and he got known for it supposedly on social media just a little bit, and then that company happened to use randomly use the same word for something else, but it was a made up word.
Jesse J-Roo was telling me that like apparently Kyoto Animation was known for hiring women for their the studio, which is mostly like a male dominated industry, and which is the reason why a majority of the people who died were women.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do they make? Let's honor them. I mean, was there something that you saw that you might have liked?
I think they did. I know they did. God, what's her name? Like the Dragon Maid anime, which I watched because it's kind of adorable and funny. I'm into like weird, dumb animation sometimes. And then I think they did like Your Lie in April, which is a Netflix animation. And there was another one that I can't remember, but right. Their animation quality was good, and I mean obviously a lot of the heavy lifting in the anime world is done in either the Philippines or Korea, but like
That's crazy.
my thoughts are out to them. So.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
When did that happen? Was that like Wednesday or something? Or
Yeah,
like
it was. I think it was Wednesday.
Wednesday, maybe?
And I didn't hear about it until like Saturday.
Oh, okay. I heard about it the next day, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that's a bummer. I hope. Apparently, they're going to tear down the building and create a memorial or something.
Oh,
like that.
wow.
So
So animation studio is not going to continue.
it probably will.
Last thing on their mind, probably. But
yeah, it's. I mean,
you know.
that's apparently the worst, massacre or mass killing in Japan since World War II.
Wow.
So,
it's crazy.
and then my number 5 is live painting at Monkey King Party, which my boy Kano was in.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Like
Yep.
lots of ball busting.
Yeah, man. I got there. I had a couple of drinks in me already, and by the time I started painting, Luke he was just a victim of a lot of me just being out of control.
Oh, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I like to think I threw a couple in there.
Oh yeah. No, we were just all slinging shit, man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Is it in that same room as it was before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's kind of shallow is the one thing, right?
Oh yeah, that was the thing that I didn't like about it, because like you couldn't step back from your piece to like fix things, because there were people right behind me taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But that was literally the only thing that was like kind of like it's uncomfortable. Other than that, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
We were just having a good time and painting and
Yeah. They had like artists from Unruly, which Kano has a new piece coming out from, and then like this guy named Poop Bird and another guy whom I don't know, and then they had a handful of artists from Monkey King, like Bill McMullen was there, or Billions was there.
He was live drawing.
And Jesse Hernandez was there too, and he was
Jesse Hernandez was there, and then a girl showed up, and Luke was like, "Whoa!"
Soy Milk.
Soy Milk showed up.
Soy Milk.
Soy Milk. I was shocked that Soy Milk would do this.
Of course.
But like she just went up there and like kept drinks flowing and the pizza.
Yeah, it was awesome. I kept having a drink in my hand. Also, like it was just really cool, like nonstop. She must have found out I was there painting, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
She was like,
"Oh, well, I'm
Kano's fucking painting. And
I
I'm
think
like,
so."
she's like, Poop Bird is fucking painting.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, I'm getting up on this shit.
Oh man. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how many years it's been that they've been doing that at that
12 years.
12
Wow.
years.
Same location?
Same
Ah,
location.
didn't realize.
It's a great location. It's got some
Yeah.
of the best pizza
Yeah.
in San Diego in my.
It is good.
I don't think I've ever actually had the pizza there.
Oh, dude, the pizza's good.
Yeah.
The pizza is really good. It's like really like artisanal. Like,
Yeah.
looking.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
I liked it when I had it.
Mm-hmm. But
Cool.
you don't go to these things anymore.
No, man.
Anymore? Did you
I've
used to?
I've been a couple. Well, let's see. The Monkey King one, maybe 3 or 4 times, but the next day I pay for it.
Oh, but you're also working the booth like
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I had to. There was one year when we did that, and we got to the booth the next day, and I was just like all day in pain of just being
Yeah.
tired.
Mm.
And I learned, I was like, no more. And that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. When that happened once, it was just everybody though. We were all dead.
Yeah.
So after your work day at Comic-Con, do you just basically get dinner and go?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean
Mhm.
it's intense.
Because I mean, we're waking up at 6:45, and shit, shower, shave, if at all.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you wake up late, you're just like, fuck it, I'm just going just like this, and then you make a coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to rescrew that in.
Yeah.
You make get a coffee, get on the road, and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really it.
You know what you should do? You should do what I think like Dove does. He gets a room like at the Hilton right next to it and puts his staff up in the Airbnb or something like that.
Oh man.
Wow. Yeah. No.
That's what I heard.
I'm good.
That's what I heard. I could be completely
It all
wrong.
works.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to get into my top 5?
Yes, I do.
All right. So number 1 is something that kind of just came to my attention yesterday. But I guess Futura has some pop vinyl toys coming out.
Whoa.
So that's kind of interesting.
What's a pop vinyl?
You know, like those Funko Pop
Yeah.
things that are
He has
everywhere?
a Funko Pop.
Yeah, but they're like Star Wars. And I guess from what I've seen, they're Star Wars characters with his, he has like his own camos.
That Point Man guy.
No, it doesn't have Point Man on it at all. It's just
Uh-huh.
like his camo patterns, the digital.
Oh, okay.
kind of stuff
Right.
on Star Wars figures.
Wow.
Whoa, that's
So-
interesting. Okay.
I'm a big Futura fan, so I kind of don't even know how to feel about that. But it's kind of weird. It's kind of left field. Like
Did
I'm
you
used-
see? Are there pictures posted of it?
Yeah, there's a couple of teasers, and I think he posted one on his Instagram.
Weird.
He's been really busy lately. Like he's been doing stuff at Shea Stadium, and he dropped another toy with his company. I guess it's Mind Style, but it's Pop Life. It's called.
Right. Yeah.
So he dropped the toy with them. So that's number one on mine.
Nice.
Wow.
Number two was just Unruly. I figure Unruly toys in general, like all the releases they've been having, and it's always interesting to.
Your bust looks great, by the way.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Third is connected to Comic-Con, but it's the Marvel pattern, and I figure since it's the Marvel panel, you know how they did the announcements for all the new Marvel
Yeah,
series?
Phase 4.
Yeah, so they announced like the Shang-Chi movie and the cast.
Master of Kung Fu.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that sounds like it's going to be
Yeah.
pretty interesting. I figure I'd bring that up because this is like, giant robot. I figure let me bring something
This is like
super
really
duper Asian.
It's really long delayed, right? Isn't this supposed to have happened way long ago?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard about it for the last 10 years.
It might be a good thing that it was
Yeah.
delayed. They
Yeah.
seem like they're just starting to get things right.
Because I mean, it would have been the next coming of that Roger Corman Fantastic Four or something, right? It would
Yeah.
have it would have been super rough, I think.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean, I think they've even learned lessons from Iron Fist of certain things that they shouldn't do
Yeah.
or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So another one was you guys watch that show Comedians in Cars Drinking Coffee?
I've seen a couple
It's
of
a Jerry
episodes.
Seinfeld one.
yeah,
but,
I've watched two of them.
So the new episode just came out with like Eddie Murphy. It's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
awesome.
Oh.
And it's like a longer extended one. It's longer than the usual episodes.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool because he talks about like Michael Jackson, Prince, Bill Cosby,
Really?
Richard Pryor. Like it's all the stuff that you kind of want to hear Eddie, that you want to hear him say. So I just saw that last night, so it was on my mind.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, everybody, that's one to watch. That sounds great.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I want to go and get home and watch that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my fifth one is I don't know if you guys follow you guys know the YouTuber Casey Neistat.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Right.
Yeah.
So he just put up a video. It's kind of like his I guess he's moving from New York to LA, or he has already. So it's kind of his weird like coming of age transitional I'm gonna stop doing my vlogs and start doing this other thing video, but it's pretty interesting. It's like a recap of what he's been doing his whole time in New York.
Who is he? I don't know who he
Casey
is.
Neistat is the guy who kind of made daily vlogs famous.
Okay.
You've seen some of his videos that have
I'm trying to describe what he looks like to Luke. Is he he's bald, right?
no Casey
Oh,
Neistat.
he's not. Okay.
Casey Neistat looks like the guy from Warriors with the bottles. That's like Warriors.
Oh yeah, okay. I've seen his videos. He's kind of
Yeah.
like an older guy. He
Yeah,
like
he's
who's like
older.
rides like
He's
you know,
not
weird-
though. He just looks. His face looks older, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's like
He looks
38,
like a Sean
39.
Penn, right?
Yeah.
I thought he had no hair, like a shaved
No,
head.
he has crazy hair. Like
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So his videos are awesome. I just discovered him like a year ago, and I just watched all his stuff. And so yeah, that was on my mind because I just watched that video.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's always I like last time I always kind of would mention like weird vloggers that I like watching too, and I think that's do you just kind of like put it on in the background while you're working and
Yes, yeah. I'm always like listening to stuff like this show when I'm working at like when I'm working at the job or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm drawing, I just kind of listen to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And his is pretty interesting because he shoots it with like drones and cinematography, and like he edits everything really nice. So a lot of the things he's done on his vlog have become staples in vlog culture that people do.
Right.
So it's he's usually the first one to do things though.
We need to get a
drone. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are my 5 things.
Nice.
Oh, I have an extra one. Can I put an extra one there?
Yes.
Yep.
So my 6th one is on the drive back from like San Diego with Tracy Tubera, who's my friend that I went out there with. So on our drive back, we're like looking at our Instagram accounts and we're like checking. It's like, oh man, how many followers does this guy have? Well, what the hell? How do you get that? And this and that, right? And then we start doing the game of like, well, let's see who's verified. And lo and behold, Luke Chu is verified on Instagram. So I was like, how the hell, who did he have to sleep with to get that? And then, so we were just like going down that rabbit hole. So yeah, man, who do you have to sleep with?
Well, first of all, I got my Facebook and Twitter verifications, and that was like as soon as I just learned about verifications, I did it. And then when Instagram, actually, it's in the app. You can apply for verification.
But you have to have the other two things.
I think it helps. I think it definitely helps. Like,
because I know a lot of people. I've tried it once. It didn't work. But I know a lot of people who try it. They're like, man, fuck this thing.
Wow.
And like, I was talking to someone who works in like the publicity kind of game, and like, he was saying that it takes like months for it to kind of cycle through. Like, Linda Lee, Bampy Bit Me, J-Ru's girl. Like, she should be verified because she has people like, imitating her and like claiming that they're her and
right.
And like, so I showed her the link, and I was there when she filled it out, but like for some reason she hasn't been verified yet, and on Instagram, and I was thinking maybe it kind of helps to get that Facebook and Twitter verification first, just to kind of, which might be a little bit easier than Instagram.
Oh, interesting.
But so I there are a couple of small like Luke Chu kind of Instagram accounts that I don't think are really active anymore, but like that might have helped too. So
interesting.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Tracy C. I asked them.
And then I went to the CEO and just dropped his pants.
Yeah, you did. we know you did. You're like, it takes a couple of months. How about a couple of days?
I bent over like on his desk and just
Ate ass.
Verified.
I know. He just went, oh, push the button.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so those are my 5.
Yeah. Well,
6.
So I don't know. Like, well, who? I mean, like, I can't be the only one that you were like, what?
No, you're not. But I was always under the impression that it was about how many followers you had, and it's totally not.
No.
Because I did a gig for ABC where like I met these actors that were on the show, right? And when we became friends on social media, they didn't have that many followers, but they were all verified. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that their PR people made sure to patch it all through and like.
Absolutely. Yeah. PR people can, if you have a PR connection, they can like
push that.
Yeah, push
it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So time to like,
verified.
You don't need to like, kiss the Instagram ass. You need to like just kiss that, PR ass.
I didn't know. Wow. Now I know.
I think I forgot what, maybe it's Facebook. I think I'm verified on Facebook, but I can't remember.
I forgot. Either. Yeah. I mean, like,
I don't think I even applied for the Instagram one.
Like, you use a personal account on on Facebook, don't you? Like the Eric Nakamura one is like personal.
I think those are.
Because verified pages are pages. Like, like business.
Maybe it's Twitter then. Something.
I think you're verified on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't remember though. Oh well. I didn't eat that ass.
Oh shit! There it is.
Just toss that salad.
There it is.
All day long.
Yep.
To get that blue check mark.
Hitting that noodle bar.
Well, we all went to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
How was it?
For me, it was. I thought just busier, more people, concentrated all the time compared to before. I mean, I remember. Like waves of people going in and out type of thing.
I mean,
and
you've been going for a long time now.
Yeah, year 26 in a row.
Years.
Yep.
Holy shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 26
That's over
years.
half.
I don't even know. Yeah, it's 50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that many in a row.
That's crazy. That means there was a trailer for Jurassic Park in Hall H or something.
Oh, maybe. Well, I don't even know what was there. Don't forget, I had a booth 25 of those 26 years. So, or a table or a booth, right, the whole time. So
you must be rich, bro.
Just working, man.
Sheesh. Wow, that's a lot.
Rich from what? Paying for the booth, because that's just expensive too.
You didn't like? There's no like grandfathering in like a price from the.
No, everyone pays the same.
Damn.
You're on a pretty big like square. Of
it's a 20 by 10.
20 by 10.
Yeah.
So how many booths would that normally be?
That's 2.
2.
Yeah, just 2 connected.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've got just So yeah, it's the same thing as like people right across from me and so forth. Yeah, Drawn and Quarterly.
But yours
has
is
two.
kind of like an island.
Yeah, I have one of the few 2-booth islands in the building. Yeah, there's only like a few of those, and I have one.
Wow.
Yep, that's grandfathered in,
Yeah.
I
Nice.
guess, because I keep getting it back again every year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Until they decide to like not give it back.
Yeah,
to you.
then-
You're Comic-Con verified.
yeah, that's true. And there is a place in the application. How many years have you been there? And I I put the number. It's like 25 years straight. And but it's one of those things, right? If you don't go, and I decide one year, hey, I'm giving up. Like this year, I'm too tired, and you don't pay for it or whatever, you lose it. You
Yeah.
know, and it's gone forever.
Right.
Right? I won't get that back.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I mean, if you decide to reapply again, they'll.
It takes 5 years supposedly.
Oh,
To get back in. So nope, got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you sell it or something if you can. You can always do that. Some people do lease out half of their booth or the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I've seen it with
Yeah.
their banner still hanging above.
Yeah,
I think that's what you have to do.
And so what happened with
That's the
why Unruly was next to Monkey King was because.
Oh, yeah. Toy
Um,
Tokyo also. There's like a random Toy Tokyo sign above like Funko Pop.
Mhm.
It's like, what's that doing up there?
Oh, they have to leave it there?
yeah,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Got you. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was the bad thing about Comic-Con for me now is I used to still walk around and check everything out. This time I can't say I walked 10 feet to the right of my booth. Well, if you're facing it left, I guess. I didn't go 10 feet that way. I went 30 feet maybe to the other side, and I went 30 feet to the front, and that was it.
That's it.
Yeah, and I went to the bathroom, of course, and then I walked out, I left.
Right.
So those are the only directions I went. Like I didn't even go to Sideshow Toys, and that's like really close.
Yeah.
I think that's like 3 aisles or two rows from me. I didn't even go there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just work it, but I have a good time still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm protected.
Well, making money is always a good time,
but
right?
that helps. But I'm protected from, I think, all the craziness too. I'm sort of inside of it, just watching, and I'm actually kind of fun too.
I always have to kind of remember like which row you're in because there's like a couple of like obviously there's the number rows from 100 to 4700.
Yeah.
But then there's like the front row. There's another row, and there's the row that you're on, and there's a row behind that.
I like to think we're in like a main aisle though, right? There's a front main aisle near the doors, and we're in the next big aisle. Like the big
Right,
walkway.
the ones with the pillars in it.
the walkway that goes from one end to the other. Basically, you can walk all the way on my that middle row. I'm facing that row. So,
But you were saying that like business was like really good for you.
Yeah, it's busier because what I heard, because they have the badges now that you scan in and out.
Right.
Yeah.
They know that how many people are in or how many people are out, but they realize from like let's say a year or two that they realize that okay, at any given time there's averaging this many people, X amount of people inside. That means there's people outside because there's so much shit outside of Comic-Con, right? Like that whole downtown area.
Yeah.
There are events happening everywhere all day. So they realize, okay, there's a lot of people not in here. We could sell more tickets. Right.
Oh.
So this year there's supposedly a record. How can you have a record when you know what the capacity is and you're at capacity? But this year somehow there's more people that actually went to Comic-Con. Like they have a higher number this year than ever.
They could probably easily like close the doors to like saying like, okay, we have hit the fire.
I don't. Yeah,
limit.
they could know actually or be close to it by the the digital scanning in and out. But they realize there's actually like maybe 10 or 20% of the people aren't even inside during the day, so we could sell 20% more tickets, right?
That's crazy.
Shit like that. I think that's what I
Yeah.
heard. So if that's true, then you know that because it felt a lot busier.
Oh, it was crazy busy.
Every day felt more crowded than I've ever experienced.
Like preview night was
It was busy,
was
man.
really busy.
Yeah, it's the busiest preview night I've seen. Preview night has gaps of nobody. This year, it was people all the time.
Yeah.
It was weird.
That's crazy. I
was a
went
trip.
Thursday and Friday, and the main things I've noticed that were different were the crowd control when you were walking in, coming into the convention. Like about at the end of each block, they were just checking who had their pass.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, you couldn't just linger around and hang out.
No.
It was like you got a pass, you get through. So, and then once you got through that part, you could just walk in. There was no big crowd in front of the convention center or anything. So I felt like traffic was moving really smoothly.
Well, they closed the road. You remember, like, right outside of the convention center, there was the
Harbor Boulevard or whatever,
well,
Harbor
just-
Drive.
Well, there used to be a road that all the shuttles would come up to, so
Yeah.
you could like
Harbor
the
Drive.
shuttles got like pushed down to the street level.
Oh, I see.
You know, and then like they kind of closed that off to all other traffic too.
So you could
Oh.
walk there?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was no cars coming through.
yeah,
Yeah.
So like
Wow,
when,
weird.
When
So
people
so
were-
the people, there's more space to walk around out there.
Yeah.
You're allowed to walk on the street now.
yeah.
See, the whole time I got in before anybody's there, and I left after it's done. So I didn't even
Yeah.
know
Right.
because I went to the parking lot. I didn't even walk on that street.
Right. Yeah. No.
Crazy.
They blocked all
That's
that off
wild.
because like we usually stay like in one of the hotels like where the Top Gun barbecue place is. I don't know whether or not you guys are familiar with the Top.
Yeah, I just found out today. I passed it like every day, but I didn't eat there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I for years, for the past 15 years, every time I I'd see that place.
Kansas City barbecue. it's
Kansas
called,
City
right?
barbecue. Yes, I would hear like it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. And then like I'm passing it by. I'm like, this place has been here since fucking 1980 something. Since
Yeah.
the movie Top Gun.
wow.
So it's got to be okay at least. And I ate there finally. I convinced Patrick like
And
look,
how was it?
it was okay.
Okay.
A solid B-. It's not like that one barbecue place that's like north of everything. I don't, have you been there before? There's this huge barbecue place. It's usually a 45-minute wait
In San
line-
Diego?
in San
No,
Diego.
I haven't been to any.
It's kind of like Texas style barbecue, like really sweet.
Is it
and-
good?
Yeah, if you're into like really sweet barbecue.
No, I'll eat it. I don't know if I like it or not, but it sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean I don't mind
Okay.
it.
Yeah, okay.
I'll eat it. I mean, like it's like way too much food, and like you're waiting like 50 minutes. But me and waiting in lines for food.
You'll wait? No, you don't wait.
I don't like waiting.
That's true. Okay.
like
What am I saying?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing is worth waiting that long for. Waiting in a line, especially under the sun. Like, that's my problem with like all these places, like these trendy places, with like, oh, you have to wait, and like if they don't give me a beeper or they don't call my phone to let me know, then
Yeah.
it's like, fuck you. Use the technology. Anyways,
Right.
but like, yeah. So anyways, I ate there. But yeah, it was yeah. So every time I would walk through, I would do that walk, a couple times a day,
Wow.
and yeah, I was like impressed to see like how much they shut down to make the flow of traffic like easier. So yeah, it was I was like surprised on how packed the convention center
Yeah.
was.
Which, and that seemed like people were into it. But I guess that means those who are there are definitely in there to like check all this shit out. Because I didn't, also for where my booth is, I didn't hear people screaming. Like I didn't hear that. Maybe that's happening really far away.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually hear stuff and I see like celebrities will be walking through and everyone's all going nuts. Like I saw none of that this year. Like nothing of that. Nothing like that happened.
Well,
I
they
usually-
moved things
yeah.
around
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
the before the entire like quote unquote like indie toy section used to be in the 4000s, and they pushed most of it to the 2600s,
I see.
the 2000s. So from my understand, like Warner Brothers got pushed into the 4000s, and
Oh, so did DC probably.
and
which-
DC was too.
Yeah, because Jason Momoa was like a few aisles over from us, like really close by.
Oh really?
Oh, at the DC booth. And then that's gone.
Oh.
Yeah. No more Jason Momoa.
Oh no.
It's okay. I
Yeah,
got
seriously, it's okay.
I got over it. Yeah.
Forget that, dude.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa.
I know.
He seems like a
Aquaman
nice-
sucked, bro.
Did it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Was
bad.
Aquaman?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
But he didn't. I feel like they made that where he didn't have to act so much. That was
He
the
should have
idea.
acted. Maybe it would have
Yeah.
been better.
That movie, it was problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you I don't know, you didn't leave your booth.
I didn't.
So Luke, what did you feel about the vinyl toy area this year?
I didn't even
The
see it.
section.
Yeah, I didn't even go there.
It's pathetic. It's kind of, I don't see what the point of like, even really doing it is anymore. I don't think, I mean, unless you've got a licensed fucking property, then, you're going to have a hard time, making up even the cost to attend this,
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
face it. Comic-Con's very pricey.
Yeah, exactly.
To have a booth is really expensive.
Pathetic is a strong word. I want to hear more about that.
Okay. Here's the thing. Like, who are the big winners? What were the booths that like really dragged people to that people were lining up for? Like Bait was good. Obviously, I'm sure Funko was doing great.
Is Funko in that
It's
area?
not. It's all the way
So
back.
Funko's still.
Yeah.
Funko Island is something else. That's another story, right?
Yeah.
But you're talking about the indie.
I'm talking
toy,
about if you took those two aisles,
those little indie
those
toy.
two little aisles that are like
Mm-hmm.
usually have all the people we know,
Mm-hmm.
like what that specific, because Funko was like far,
Yeah.
and that's not. I don't really consider that like.
I
This
can't
group.
even think of very many like toy companies, indie toy producers at Comic-Con that aren't on the license, game. Monkey King's probably one of the only. Monkey King, Unruly.
Yeah, but even Monkey King is doing a Star Wars type project. It's not licensed, but it is sort of
right.
pandering to the IP.
Yeah,
and
of
the-
course.
right, so
I've
there's-
created those kind of products.
So
and
like, I
has-
mean, you kind of need that. Comic-Con,
Yeah.
if anything, is a place to do that.
sure,
right?
yeah, of course.
So let me see. You had you had Monkey King, you had Unruly, which were the new guys. You had
And they weren't even selling anything.
right. They were just showcasing stuff.
Yeah.
And Bait's gonna be
Bait,
there.
Yeah,
There.
but Bait had Astro Boy. Bait
Yeah,
had like
sure.
some what was it? A Dragon Ball thing.
Oh,
Bruce Lee thing.
Kid Robot's there, right?
Kid Robot,
Yeah.
Kid Robot had the Agretsuko thing, and
Super 7,
Super 7 had the Snoopy
Yeah.
thing.
Duff
know.
Kellemer with all his bootleg.
Yeah, with all those crazy
Those are the
bootleg toys. Yep,
That's the best.
Yeah, that was one of the funnest booths to look at.
Then you had who else? Linda Panda, and So Analog.
Yeah, I wonder how
Right.
they did.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And then who else? Jerome.
Oh,
Jerome was
Jerome,
there.
yeah,
Jerome Lou.
Hyperactive
Jerome Lou.
Monkey.
Yeah.
Right. 3D
Yeah.
Retro.
3D Retro was there. 3D Retro. I mean, like they had some Sofubi, like that was, and like some Thousand Toy stuff, like But I don't like, they had the whatchamacallit, the Nitro T-Rex from Jurassic Park thing, on display there, and I mean, like it wasn't sold out by the end of the con, I don't think. So I just think that the attendees of Comic-Con are kind of looking for something a little bit more pop culture-y.
Yeah, Funko Pop, basically.
Yeah, then like artsy.
I've seen, so even just from my booth stuff, I realize that usually artsy stuff, I just see it going less and less every year.
Right.
Yeah, I used to be able to. Well, little known fact: when I kind of reformed Giant Robot in about 2011,
Right.
you actually helped me, right? That first year where I didn't know what the fuck to do at Comic-Con because it was kind of like, am I still doing this?
And Luke was like, "Bears, you need bears."
You need some more bears.
Luke actually said, you're gonna do this, and it was customized stuff, right? It was
Right.
customized figures. So I brought 2 D-Tops and made it part of the booth, and they sold, and at decent prices, and they sold, and it was awesome. And I was like, whoa, my first foray into any kind of like figure customization, which later I did, I got involved with that a lot more, was that.
Right.
That's so interesting you say that, because that part,
And that was in
It's
2011 or 12.
yeah, that part is completely non-existent.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
that
In
weird?
that whole world.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to somebody where like even for the majority like just signings in general at comic conventions are not really that big. At least I know like in New York, like at 5 Points, New York Comic Con, it's really not like it used to be. Like you do a signing and there's a line of people with blank monies or dunnies that you have
Right.
to, that's
yeah.
also all gone. Like
Yeah.
nobody cares
No,
about
because
that.
like for example, Drill One, right, was like I sold his stuff.
Yeah.
Like people were buying Drill One stuff.
Yeah.
His customized products, and they were buying it. It was like it was a gimme. It was like, oh man, if Drill One's in it, it's gonna look good, and people are gonna buy it, right? Like that's something that people wanted.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if that would work anymore. At Comic Con.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at
Yeah.
Comic Con.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe like a D-Con.
Sure,
you
of
know.
course, yeah. But I was just thinking that's what I'm saying. every year it's more, less and less of this kind of stuff. I used to sell your paintings there, like original art.
Yeah.
And it's harder to do now. I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely.
there's some people interested, but before it was I was like, dude, it's sold. Like for sure. I was 100% sure I would sell it.
Right. Well, you even
Yeah.
saving like you brought a bunch of James Jean stuff and like it did well, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like a blowout.
It didn't. I mean, if he was there, it probably would have, no
Sure.
problem.
Yeah.
But
Sure, of course.
yeah, it's just changed a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting for
Yeah.
me. Like, this is my first time that I walked the floor at Comic-Con since like 11 or 12. Since 2011 or 2012. And I remember being more disappointed then than I am now. I guess because I kind of like all the product that I saw. Like, Super 7 had Peanuts, and they had all this cool stuff that they were doing with it. And I just remember at a certain point, that designer toy area felt like there was more artists than people buying stuff that were
Right.
populating those two aisles. There were just artists hanging around. And for example, like when Dragatomi had that booth,
Oh, yeah.
right? It was full of customs, but like all the artists were hanging around the booth. It's like, how do you guys even sell this stuff if people can't even get in there to see stuff? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know. When you have more artists than customers or fans, it's kind of like, who's buying this stuff?
Right.
Like
right.
at least with the custom stuff, I feel like that's kind of why it imploded. And now like customs is like where you sell customs is like on your site. Like if you drop like an exclusive of like 10 or 15 pieces,
Right.
but not like I don't know. I'm sure there's people that are doing it.
No, I did a custom thing.
Quicks is one of the only ones that I know right now that's like
Hot.
really hot.
killing stuff. Like
Yeah.
just he's the guy right now.
Yeah. No, Quicks is doing like, he's mad popular right now. But it just kind of like follows like this idea of like trends and what Comic-Con means now. Like I think that like you have these huge movie studios there. People are like lining up and like going like super fan crazy over like whatever and you got to like kind of pander to that crowd for for that specific show. I'm glad that we're kind of talking about it because I been like wanting to like kind of like strategize like like especially like working with Monkey King a lot I saw like how things are going there and I just don't feel like the Monkey King booth was doing I don't think we were taking full advantage of what that booth could be able to offer, and
So you're going to help fix that?
I'm going to talk to them about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah.
You helped my booth a lot.
So
I think that's one of the things. For those that don't know, I always think that Luke and you are a great problem solver, and yeah, you're able to like I don't know. I think you're really good at that. And I once said that I think if you were in a different parallel universe, you would be awesome like at marketing. If you just had a marketing job, solving problems and answering questions and figuring out how to like promote something.
that's the graphic design background right
I think
there.
you'd be really good at that as a that's a parallel universe. Don't do it.
It's funny. I was
Don't
actually
do it.
talking to a friend of mine about art and I know that like I personally kind of look at visual communication as problem solving.
Sure, that's
like,
what it.
What am I
yeah.
trying to say or do here, and what are my limitations, and how much time do I have, and boom, kind of put it all in the blender and spit it out.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why I always go to the bear.
The bear
It's always got your back.
sells.
Yeah. So
Give
one,
the
one,
people what
yeah.
they want.
one question came in from June Watanabe, enrolled agent. Do you guys have weird groupie stories? I'm assuming at Comic-Con.
I have zero. I've been married for a very long time.
Not at Comic-Con.
Oh wait, yeah, you've traveled. You've gone to like, you got third world groupie stories.
I wouldn't call them groupie stories, but like, I don't know. I mean, I've
Luke's like, I'm usually the groupie.
like things have happened, but like nothing like too like, whoa, that was, crazy, unusual. Like nobody's like just, drop their pants and in the middle of a public environment or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I know groupie stories. I'm like, there's people that I signed a book or I signed a magazine, but there's no groupie story.
I've seen stuff, but yeah, I'm not blowing up anybody's spot like that. Or people do have groupies. I've seen that happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't like, what am I supposed to, like, I've been, like, hit on before, but, like, like, I would only kind of realize it, like, afterwards when, like, people would be talking about it, and I'm like, what? Like, that person was hitting on me? I'm like, usually just kind of, like, in work mode when I'm at these things. Like, I'm not, like, really kind of paying attention to, like, signals or signs or anything, so.
That's true.
I'm just, like, sign things, be appreciative, next. So
Thanks for your money. Thank you.
yeah,
Bye.
Thanks for your support.
Thank
Goodbye.
you for your cash. Thank you. Bye. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not usually, like, thinking about, like, whatever when I'm out, like, an event. I'm just, like, there to,
Nah, man. Every single guy's always thinking about it, bro. If you're out there live painting or doing something, you're looking. Come on. Don't. Every single dude is like, yo, if tonight pops off.
You know what? My self-esteem issues run really deep. So, like, I just can't even fathom like that fucking like playing out for me. Unless I was drinking, and I don't drink. It just is not, like, something I even consider, unless, like, someone, like, literally, like, grabs my junk, and whatever.
So you need to get Me Too'd in order for you to get the picture.
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's what you want.
Okay. Well, let's go. But
You forced me.
Yeah. You opened my eyes. But, like, no, that.
So, like, what do you think of Comic-Con's going toward, like, moving in 5 years, for example? Because we know where it was, obviously, but is it going toward less arty stuff, more, what do you call it, like collabs or more pop culture, more, licensed product type stuff?
I would say definitely licensed pop culture. All that stuff is becoming so normal. And as much as we want to be artists and act, like, snobbish about those kind of things, the truth is that they open a lot of opportunities for artists. If you start working on, say, if you're working, for example, my friend Tracy, he just did some Marvel figures with Sideshow, and that's like a dream come true for him. Like, some people have different goals. For me, if I do something with Marvel, I could do murals with them later for something else. So, and if it's balanced out right, it's my artistic interpretation of these things, right? Yeah. So, I think that there is, like, a plus side to it. At the end of the day, we're all, like, we're not. I mean, how do I say this? We're all dudes that need to get paid to support our life. You know what I mean? So if it's a corporation that's now paying you as a brand instead of, like, an indie toy company that's gonna screw you over again, which we've been on that list. That's been around forever, right? So it's like, let's if it's time to get paid, let's get paid. That's how I feel about it.
I mean, like, I don't get, like, obviously I don't get a lot of offers for, like, from, like, licensees, like Marvel or anything like that, simply because my work is such a, limited kind of vision, and doesn't really have room for, things outside of, like, the little things that I have done, like for, like, my Headspace series, where it was more about me, like, celebrating my personal fandom of these, like, licenses, rather than kind of, like, me trying to reinterpret, their IP into, something that kind of, like, has, like, my flavor to it or whatever. I personally,
the right IP hasn't come along for you yet. But if it did, you'd be all in, because it's like if Hallmark hit you up and they were into like these gory kind of like holiday bear cards,
And-
right?
or making the little ornaments.
Yeah.
The
or
Lucci
like
ornaments.
you know.
Merry Christmas, bloody bears, bloody headless. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
like,
or if the
yeah,
people who
well-
make Care Bear was like, yo, we want an emo bear. Let's work on something.
Well, maybe, or I mean, like I think, like, let's say, like, if Hallmark came around and said, "Hey, Luke, we want you to do this thing with God, what was the Christmas like polar opposite of Santa Claus? It's the devil thing that steals bad children, and it's a German thing.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Um,
Anti-Santa Claus.
oh yeah, he's like Santa Claus is like a polar opposite.
Wow.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No. Scrooge.
No,
Yeah.
no. It's this weird horned beast. Nick Harry's like a boy and a girl on his back, and like
Sounds like Satan.
yeah, it kind of looks like
Yeah.
Satan. He has a long tongue and stuff like that. And if like say like, but that's not like a pop culture thing. That's more of a kind of.
But it's licensing either way. You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't understand why there's such a bad why it's looked at as such a bad thing to do something that's pop culture, or like, I don't necessarily play in that ballpark so much. Like, I really don't. Like, I can easily, but at the same time, I'm like, every artist wants to be a different kind of artist.
Sure.
So it's like, I can't knock it.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, well, look, I guess, the question is, are you a designer or are you an artist?
Oh. The word is Krampus.
Krampus, yes, thank you.
Thank you,
What's
Lance,
Krampus, the
Lance
devil?
Agena. Lance Agena did
Yeah,
it.
yes, Krampus is who I was thinking. I was just about to pull up my phone to look it up. Krampus was I love the idea of Krampus. So if holiday, so if Hallmark wants me to do a Krampus thing, I will do a Krampus thing.
Yeah.
But it's not their like license, because Krampus is a mythological creature that
Sure.
like existed for hundreds of years,
Yeah.
and like they can't fucking own that shit. It's just kind of like Coca-Cola.
Disney can own it. They can own anything.
Disney can't own anything. That's true. Unless if they decide to do a Krampus fucking animation, which I can imagine them doing, yeah, that'll be a thing. But I don't know. I mean, like, okay, here, like,
Dude, just sell out and make some money, bro. Come on.
dude, look,
He's like, I will.
I would, but I would want to do it on my terms.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, like I think it's great that like, fuck. Okay, it's like the difference between a fucking
He's in the corner. Punch your way out, bro.
fucking designers, illustrators, and artists.
Uh-huh.
Like everyone wants to think that like it's under a fucking umbrella called art, and to a certain degree it is. But you know what the thing is? Most artists will fucking look. If you called them an illustrator, they'd fucking want to fight you. And if you but illustrators but illustrators are kind of like, I don't know. I look at illustrators and designers as the problem solvers of the visual world.
For sure.
And
Especially
like
designers.
and they like will like try and like they'll like play around with like these IPs and like have fun with it and create like their own take on it. But like if you like already kind of like are doing your best to subscribe to the artist kind of thing, then you're going to want to try. You don't want to be associated with like designers and
Yeah, but that's like a sort of,
illustrators.
I don't know, man. I mean, for example, take someone like James Jean, who's an artist, right?
Right.
He does stuff for Disney. He does Mickey and Minnie. They're very much his own interpretation.
Sure.
They're still IPs. They're still pop culture, but it's still James Jean, right? And then like he'll do stuff like or whatever he does for like a fashion company.
Prada. He did a whole
Yeah,
Prada
all that
thing.
stuff. I mean, like
Yeah.
he's like, so like, okay, if you take graffiti and all that stuff, the guy is Cause, right? And if you take like an artist, I know
Cause watch.
Cause watch.
Luke's favorite guy.
Yep. Of Mount
And-
Fuji.
and
The
if
Mount
you-
Fuji project.
And if you take the world of like artists for the purity of like, an artist's favorite artist, which most of the time is James Jean, right? Like everybody loves his draftsmanship, his paintings, the skill, right? Like he's that guy who's kind of carrying both like balancing the commercial,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So like,
yeah, I mean, like those artists who are able to pull that off are few and far between.
yeah, I know, but it just shows that you can do it.
Yeah, I'm not
You know
saying
what I
it's
mean?
impossible. I'm
it's
just
like-
saying, I'm just trying to rationalize why people are apprehensive of it.
Of
Of
of just like touching it in general.
of getting into that, like, you know,
Because everybody's pretentious and everybody thinks they're a bigger deal than they are. Like
well-
everybody, like, dude, artists think about their position in a history book. It's like, motherfucker, you got to pay rent and you got to, like,
Well,
that's all in hindsight.
It's not only just that. I also think we live in different times, right? Like if you're trying to emulate the fucking careers of, like, say a contemporary artist from the 80s or 90s, you're fucking dumb because we live in fucking 2019.
Yeah.
You know, and like the rules have completely changed. You know, there's nothing, as long as you're doing what you want to do and you're fucking doing it on your terms, then fucking, you know what? I could fucking do a Campbell Soup ad as long as they fucking allow me to fucking do it the way I want to do it and don't let me, then that's fucking art.
I think so, man. I think it's kind of becoming a thing where, like, I don't think those things are, you can say they're taboo anymore. Like, I know, like, people love to pretend. I'm sure in art school, every major thinks that their major is more art than anybody else's, right? You know, like, everybody thinks that. So it's just like, but, once you remove from the academic side of it, it's just like, really, like, why not?
Oh, yeah, well, sure. I'm sure fucking most fucking people who go to fucking art school hate my guts, but you know,
you also didn't go to exactly a painting art school, right?
Fuck that shit.
Yeah,
and
Right.
But the thing is,
Right, people who like paint, like do like, say some, like, I know some like painters that paint realistically, right? But like, I'm sure they look at what everybody else does as not painting.
Right. Oh yeah.
And
I
it's
mean,
just
like,
kinda
fucking
like-
Robert Williams is notorious for fucking, like, looking at anybody who uses acrylic paint as not being painters. Robert Williams, the godfather of
uses
lowbrow.
oil.
Oh yeah, he's an oil guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, good for you. You're a fucking old man. You're gonna fucking die soon. But
Facts. Those are facts.
I'm not saying anything offensive.
That's probably true.
So
Yep.
you could take your fucking ideas to the grave.
Darren Inoue, right? Georgico.
Yeah.
Darren. He asks, like, what if a studio wanted to take your characters and make a movie?
Oh, that's
I mean, case in point is Ugly Doll just happened, right? Took his characters and made a movie.
I've had meetings at
And what terms would you be comfortable with? Was the second part.
as long if I had fucking Final Cut.
What if you didn't have Final Cut?
Fuck it.
What if you had fucking life-ending money?
Then I will fucking create something for that.
Okay.
But like, it's like the fucking Fallout Boy fucking cover I did a long ass time ago. Like, I did a painting, inspired by a meeting that I had with the
Fallout
the
Boy.
bases, the Fallout Boy, and guys, and like, I didn't want to put my own characters in the cover because my characters are representative of me, not them. And so I kind of just created characters that, and the painting looks like mine, it feels like mine, but it doesn't have like my signature characters in it. I would do the same thing for, something like that. Like I have had meetings. I had a meeting at CSA a while ago, and
CAA?
CAA, yeah, and
Yeah.
you helped which you helped kind of arrange, and like it was just
I told them Luke's gonna give you whatever you want.
exactly
Didn't happen.
fucking he'll fucking spread his cheeks for you guys. But
He's verified.
but and I still have my contacts there, but like I just didn't like once like things started like moving, like started kind of rolling and like their ideas started kind of I literally it was like, whoa, hold on, like I don't know how I feel about this because I don't, I'm not like, like some of the licenses that they were working with were like Cyanide and Happiness and like all these other kind of, illustrative kind of artists. And I was like, I don't want to let it go yet.
Mhm.
my characters are very autobiographical to me, and I'm not just going to fucking hand it to somebody else to fucking fuck around with, because it'll potentially kill the integrity. For me, yeah, sure, I'll get like, a shit ton of followers and whatever, but like, what do those numbers mean at the end when like, I can't like look at my own characters and feel that they're mine?
Right.
Sort of like Paul Frank, right?
Or fucking, Garfield and Jim Davis.
Yeah, well, that's Jim Davis's though. I'll give you my opinion on it. I feel like if you're like Luke Chueh and you've established these characters and they're part of your artistic career, then you definitely got to get extra stuff. And work that out in your contract. And what I mean by that is, like, you might want a big chunk of the royalties and merchandise. You might want to have a stipulation in there where you're always attached to the product. You might want to just give it up for a couple of years. It's hard to get like final cut. Like, what did you say?
Yeah, final cut.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that because, I mean, like, if you're working, like, it's better to be able to have a say in the director that you're gonna get.
Yeah.
That's more likely to happen, I think.
Sure.
But if you're and usually most of the people who ask this question, right? Because like I'm coming from animation, so I get a lot of these DMs.
Which one do you work at?
I work at Cartoon Network.
Cartoon
right now.
Network. Okay.
So like usually a lot of the questions are like from kids who like don't have these characters established anywhere, and they get an opportunity to present something. They're like, oh. This is my dream or whatever. If you don't have anything, if you haven't built a brand around those characters, this is your chance. Just go for it. You know what I mean? Forget about like, and this is the unfortunate truth about like getting a deal with this kind of things. If it's your first one, you're getting screwed no matter what. It's just a matter of how hard you're going to get screwed. That's just the reality of it. You're not going to come out writing. Anyone who tells you they got an awesome deal the first time and they went in there and told them what they wanted and that's what they got is fucking lying. No one you have to take, it's a give and take. You know what I mean? If it's your first shot out there, you don't have to take it, but I'm just saying you might not get that opportunity again. So if this is something that you're not so married to and somebody wants to develop it with you, then go for the ride. Go for the ride and like learn from it, and maybe it'll open more doors, and second time around, you'll have better.
Will you at least make money?
Yeah, you'll make money.
Okay.
But it won't be that much different of like, you're not buying your mom a house.
Right.
It'll be like, it's more of the experience, especially if you never worked in that industry.
Doesn't it like often happen where like, studios will like sign like exclusivity contracts with you, but then they'll just sit on it for like.
Sometimes that happens, and sometimes it's not as intentional as them sitting on it because they don't want anybody else to do it. Sometimes it's like, say, if we're the development team of a studio and somebody comes in and pitches something, I like it, you guys don't, but I'm going to keep pushing it and try to convince you guys to like it. So I give this person a deal so it doesn't go anywhere else.
Right.
But 2 years could go by and I can't change your minds and I got to let it go.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So like sometimes it works out that way.
I think Ugly Doll was on a like somebody had the license for it and never developed it, and it kind of sat for a while until more recently.
Yeah, that explains why. That stuff happens a lot.
Yeah,
man.
maybe more than 5 years it just sat.
Yeah.
But like, so I mean, in the scenario you're describing, like, are you talking about like some kid who kind of comes to a studio with like a narrative and some characters,
or like if this kid is at Artist Alley and he's putting on his stuff for the first time, and a studio comes by and they're like, "Hey, this has potential. Do you mind?" And all of a sudden, this kid starts getting like, "Whoa, they're gonna make big movies, and I have to get like what's millions and this and that." It's like, no, you don't have that leg to stand on. This is kind of your open door to walk in and kind of like learn about the business, and like they're taking a big like corporations are taking, or an animation studio, when they bring your stuff on, they're investing a lot of money in this product.
They're taking a risk. They're taking a risk too.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I mean, they're spending a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand.
So it's one of those things where like, I don't know. If a person doesn't know, they just think that someone wants to rip off their idea, and it's like that's not necessarily always like that. Sometimes it is, right? And that's kind of you gotta just roll the dice and go for it, man. Because I mean, that's where you're trying to get more opportunities, right? And like,
and how many projects actually get made from that stage? It seems like a lot of them don't, right?
There's a lot, you know. I don't. It really has to. Everything has to be aligned.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say there's probably a bunch that don't even go past a pilot or don't even get to a pilot.
Yeah, and to think like sometimes it's all of that and it doesn't get past the first season. It's just like
Right.
it gets canceled because somebody watched it or something. So it's just like it's not all that that it's cracked up to be. Sometimes I know some artists look at that as like the biggest thing, having a movie of your stuff, but sometimes it's not necessarily.
Movies fucking like die in our like modern era like so quickly.
Yeah,
You have more of a chance if it's established. Like the Boondocks guys,
sure.
that comic
Yeah,
strip,
yeah,
they got
of
a
course.
cartoon, but it was already an established
Yeah,
comic.
way established.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, but
Yeah.
if, you know,
Yeah. So, Darren asks a follow up, and he said, "Well, what would be crossing the line of into selling out?" That's a tough one.
that's interesting.
It's different for everybody,
Like,
right?
it is
There's
different.
no standard, so I think. But he's asking probably yourself and maybe yourself.
Well, I'll let Luke answer
know.
his
Yeah,
first,
sure.
since Luke has more.
Well, you know, like if they take my fucking character designs and they completely change the narrative and
Well, this is you selling out in general, or to like a studio or whatever.
I'm assuming he means to a studio.
Oh, okay.
That's because that's what we're talking about.
I mean, like, you know, like my work has always been, you know, a bit like, you know, cynical, a bit, you know, I don't know, just, you know, my work has always been just kind of about about like my shortcomings. And, you know, if they, you know, I sell my character and, you know, my ideas to a studio and then, you know, they just fucking flip it on its head and make it fucking all about sunshine and rainbows and whatever.
Swagger bear.
Like, you know, fucking,
Oh, like rainbows come out of its hands instead of blood. It's like rainbows,
rainbows,
love,
you
and
know.
hearts.
Yeah, exactly.
Emojis.
You know, and then
Oh,
like, you
man.
know, fucking like, yeah, I would consider that
And
selling it out.
it'd be by Luke Chu right under that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
And because I in my contract says like, you know, my name has to be attached to it or some shit like that. Like, you know.
Oh no.
You know, I would consider that kind of like selling out because, you know, I would like to think that like any project that, you know, my characters or my work is associated with should be true to that work.
Yeah. It should all have your like ethical
But I think
stamp on
that
it.
comes from you being an artist. I'm guessing for a person who's more of a designer, meaning I've designed 100 pins. Want to make an animation with one of those? Go ahead, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like I have a less attachment. None of those are me.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not a boba cup with a face on it. That's not me.
Right.
I mean, I'll drink that, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I think I have a less of an attachment to the many little characters I've made, whereas your main dude is you. It literally is you, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
Yeah,
and there's a history, career history of that. Yeah.
I think very much like what Luke was saying. Like if you go into a studio with a development deal, I think selling out would be if like the end product is completely doesn't have it just says your name on it, but you didn't stand your ground on creative input. You just kind of let them walk all over you and be like, hey, like this show is popular right now, right? Let's make it like that. Let's make it like that with your characters. Like let's do Friends with angry bears. It's like, if you were just like, okay, fuck it, let's just get it done.
Right.
That's kind of selling out.
Right. And you're compromising, you know, a vision that you've built up, you know, and you know that like works for you, you know, but, you know, maybe you're like your own fear, you know, just kind of lets you fucking like go, all right, I'll, you know, go with what, you know, the studio execs want and take the check and fucking, you know, let it fucking, you know, whatever. I guess that's like quite literally selling out.
But like some people think selling out is anything you do that's in the market.
Yeah.
Like if they saw your stuff in Hot Topic, they'd be like, you sold out.
Oh yeah.
When
yeah.
it kind of makes sense, like, I mean, that would be like a goth kind of like place to have a goth. Not.
Oh no! Hey, trust
You-
me. I
you
used
know.
to be a fucking big judge of selling out. You know, back in the
Yeah.
'90s. You know, I mean, like when like you know your favorite band fucking suddenly gets on the top 40.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you-
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like that kind of
Yeah, yeah.
fucking you
like
know.
Metallica did.
Yeah, or Nine Inch Nails
Right.
did, or fucking like you know whatever. I mean, like you know, and like you know back then it was a like a kind of
And REM.
oh yeah REM.
REM sold out.
That's a big one.
Oh yeah, I was losing my religion.
From which
That was their sellout song.
You know,
I think that's the
everybody
first time I
hurts,
ever-
You know,
Shiny, was
shiny
it-
happy people. You know, fucking.
I
But
like,
like,
I like this. You guys are old school.
no, we're just old.
I can't bring those names up at work. Nobody knows. them.
REM was once kind of indie, but yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, fucking Agent Orange, like the fucking Green album, fucking that 1991 or 1990, I think. Anyways, but like you know, I mean, I think selling out has completely the idea of what selling out has completely changed over the years. You know, like the selling out now means something different from selling out fucking 30 years ago.
Selling out now means securing the bag, and securing the bag means a good thing. That's basically what it is now. Hammer was ahead of his time. All those guys.
But you know,
Secure the bag, Luke.
Secure the bag. What the fuck? Secure the bag? Where does that come from? Is that a New York thing or something?
Yeah, it's like a hip hop term.
Secure
It means like
the bag.
like a bag of
underst-
money. Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand what it means, but I've never
Yeah.
heard it. Luke,
yeah. Put the money in the bag. Secure the bag.
I'm gonna
Secure the bag.
once I do my sellout show, I'll call the show Secure the Bag.
I love that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Jacob Scott mentions World War Z might be like that. I guess it had nothing to do with the book. I don't know. It's a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never read the book though.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a zombie movie featuring Brad Pitt, I think.
Yeah.
Zombies are bullshit. I don't. I don't read about zombies.
Yeah, but what
The
was
last time I cared about zombies was Thriller.
Oh. Yeah.
that was a
Well,
good
what
one.
about Z Nation though? That's a zombie one. That's like a lowest budget Walking Dead. It's so fucked up. It was great.
It might have been. I don't
It's
know.
so bad.
I mean,
It's good.
I never saw Z Nation.
It's so bad. It's good. There's zombie babies in that one. Or little babies
Whoa.
are because you don't see baby zombies in Walking Dead. Well, this one had angry little babies.
Oh.
Yeah, that's deep. And they killed off the lead characters one by one quickly. They didn't give a fuck.
I
Man.
remember like didn't. I
It's so
remember
bad, it's
Seeing
good.
a movie where like they're like babies were like like ripping themselves out of their wombs and shit like that. you
Oh
know?
my
That's
God.
crazy.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm not.
Anyway,
no.
sorry.
Anyways,
Yeah, it's a diversion.
Well, you know,
sorry,
but-
Jacob Scott. That's your fault.
Horrible question, Jacob Scott.
I blame our listener. Thank you, but our listeners are
no,
golden.
but like I mean, like say like
Our
well,
golden
Louise,
listeners.
I never read the book, but
all good.
from what I understand, the movie was completely different from the book.
Well, that's what he just said. That's what he said, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't read
Yeah.
the book. I watched the movie. It was funny because I watched the movie on a plane, and
There's a plane scene. In
and
that.
there's a
a
plane
good
scene.
plane scene. In
Fuck
that.
And you know
that.
what?
I don't do that.
the movie cuts out, and suddenly they're in like England.
Oh no! So they wouldn't show a plane crash on the plane.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, you know,
Makes
it's-
sense.
I
Jeez.
watched all 3 Hangovers on the way to Asia one time because I'd never seen the movies, and apparently they cut out the scene where like the one Asian actor is like naked, running around.
Oh,
you know,
Yeah, the doctor dude.
Ken Jeong,
Ken
Dr.
Jeong.
Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he shows his little
Yeah.
penis running
And,
around.
yeah, and fucking
Yeah.
like all that shit
Shameless.
is fucking like cut
Wow.
out too. So I didn't realize that there was supposed to be like Asian
Yeah.
penis in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
here's a question about here, like Giant Robot. You guys have open mic.
No, I don't have an open mic.
Didn't you like
you
for
have a
com-
comedy fucking
yeah,
thing?
Oh, it's comedy night.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
what I
not-
meant.
Oh, okay,
Like-
open mic is a whole.
Oh, I'm
those
sorry.
those comedy guys would be like, open mic? Fuck no, I don't do that shit. That's for fucking losers. That's they would look down on that. Like, well, we don't do open mics. Fuck that.
So oh right, because that's like here's a list. Put your name on the list. and
yeah,
it's-
it's like anyone can just do it. And
Oh, okay,
these guys
okay.
are like, they're like artists. They
yeah.
they-
I was gonna ask if there
they're-
was anyone.
they're pursuing a career. Are making a career out of
Has
it.
there anyone come by here that's like doing like bigger shows or whatever?
There's some like I don't really follow comedy because I don't book that. Somebody else does.
Oh, okay.
But some were touring, like they're on
That's
tour,
cool.
and they came in and did a 10-minute thing, but it was part of their. No, they were on tour. They didn't. It was just a little side.
Just
thing
made a
they did.
stop.
Yeah, they were doing something somewhere else, and they came in to do 10 minutes, and then they
That's
pieced
cool.
out. Yeah, they were on the road.
Mm.
So there's that stuff. But I don't know. I don't know who they are.
Are you usually here for for every event?
Most of them.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I've
And
been-
usually when it comes up, sorry, but I'm like, God damn it, it's fucking tonight.
Like I want to go home.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, fucking damn it. I want to go do this. And then it's the comedy nights happening, but it's okay. But I love them. That's their dream, right?
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
I want them to have their dream badly. So no, that's why I do it.
Is it usually Asian
It's not
centric?
it's not my dream. at all. You know, like I don't want to. I don't want to have a comedy venue. Like I've never wanted that. But
Yeah, is
I
it usually Asian guys? Like
no,
Asian?
no. Actually, it's a mix, but not. It's not Asian centric at all. Sometimes there's none. You know, but the guy who puts it on is, so he does 10 minutes. But no, sometimes he's the only Asian. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is it pretty good?
Sometimes amazing.
Really?
I've like, yeah, everybody's funny. Then some days nobody's funny, and it has to do with the crowd. You know, the crowd actually rubs off on you too, type of thing.
Right.
And that's kind of how it goes. It's weird because I see it every month. So some people tell the same exact jokes over and over and over and over and over, like, and they're hoping the crowd's different, obviously, but they're telling the same jokes because that's part of their routine. And then some months, yeah, people laugh at all their jokes, and some months there's not one laugh. The same exact joke delivered the same way because they've done it so many times. But yeah, so it's a weird, really weird thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
But anyways, yeah, no, that's an odd question, but yeah.
I can't remember where I was going. With
I was
question.
like, damn it, is this a sellout question? Am I selling out for having comedy night in the gallery?
You know, like although
I sold out with comedy night.
Although that was, you know, it's interesting you say that because for a little bit in the designer toy world, right? Like with stores, like in New York specifically, like having Funko Pop in there was considered like selling out a little bit. But it's like, yo, like you gotta pay
about this.
You gotta pay rent.
Oh,
and those things sell,
yeah,
right?
I got Bob Ross's Funko Pop.
Yeah, Bob Ross is a G though. That's different.
Yeah,
he's an exception.
I also have Hakeem from the Coming to America one.
Oh, that's racist.
I've got that. I got the Jeremy Lin one. I think no one buys it. And then
I have the New York Knicks.
Or maybe it's sold out. But I have Shohei Ohtani. Nobody buys that one.
Who's that?
The pitcher for the Angels, pitcher hitter, the DH. Nobody buys that one. It just sits. Yeah, so
You play for the Dodgers.
So okay, I sold out, but we sell Funko Pops.
Yeah, but like for a little while, like not anymore because everyone gets it. Like, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But for a little while, at least in New York, I remember specifically like at My Plastic Heart. Oh, 'cause we would give Vincent Bake so much shit.
That one doesn't. Going to that shop, I can't see Funko Pops really fitting into the way that shop is, though.
They manage. You know how it is in New York.
Yeah, but I don't remember. Last time I went, I don't remember seeing any
it's
Funko
not
Pops
a lot.
there.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm confused. But they've done other stuff that we've been like, you know, I clowned them for it.
Right.
Because just like, oh, come on, you guys. But, but that stuff sells. Like, Funko did those bigger figures that were like the Seinfeld cast. You know, they were like, I forgot who did them.
Were they the bobblehead kind of things? Or I don't even know what that is.
No, they were just like geek
bigger
toys. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
They're cool. But like, anyway, those kind of things are sometimes with the store. It's like, I don't want to have my toy in that store anymore.
Oh, wow.
Or like something. I mean, I could see why, but I mean, there's not that many toy stores for people to be picky like that anymore.
No,
Damn.
definitely not.
You know?
No, I saw them at Roto Fuji. Like, yeah, they had Funkos too. You know, I mean, but how do you feel about Funko Pops?
I don't feel any way. I don't hate them. Like, I always looked at it as a different thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's hamburgers and there's a Big Mac, right? There's like, it's two different things. You might want to eat that. You know?
Well, you know,
Does that make any sense? Like,
It does. Well, to me, it's like a standard product almost.
Yeah.
And it's cheap, like low price.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, right here in LA.
It's the same price as a blind box, a
Yeah.
Funko Pop. You know?
I have a couple of them just because they're things that like nobody else would make a toy of. Right? Like a Jeremy Lin, Linsanity, New York Knicks.
Wow.
Like they never made a toy of that except a pop vinyl, right?
Yeah.
So I have one of those, but it's just kind of like, I don't hate them. I mean, like, I feel like before Funko Pop came out, there were a couple of artists who drew that way, who drew characters like that with the little balls, the eyes, and the square head.
Right.
And there was a lot of people who were like building their careers off of that. And then Funko came out and kind of like wiped those guys out because it's just like,
yeah,
this is our thing now. It's kind of crazy.
I think when I first saw them, I thought they were fucking garbage. But I don't know. For me, I kind of began to like, maybe I was of like maybe 3 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I kind of began to like have a turn around on like how I perceive them, and I began to kind of see that like maybe these Funko Pops were going to be the gateway for collectors back into a custom / art toy kind of culture. You know, and simply because like what you know the logical progression for a Funko Pop is first, you know, you're gonna have all these people buying the Funko Pops, and then next thing you know, you're gonna have people modifying the Funko Pops to
Right.
you know kind of maybe create scenes or create dioramas or something like
Sure.
that.
Even like Lego, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, that's going to open a floodgate to like what was happening before with like, you know, custom culture and stuff like that, like from Dunnies to, you know, keys or whatever. And then that's just going to lead it next to this entire art toy movement. And I don't even know how many people who follow me who have the handle Funko somewhere in their name,
Yeah.
you know,
For sure.
and flattered that like it kind of evolved that way, that people who maybe started off buying these things because like, oh, it's a movie, that like, oh, it's cute or whatever, and then like get deep into it and then like suddenly, you know, realize that there was this like right underneath the surface is this world of, you know, artists and toys and collectibles and this and that. And then next thing you know, they're buying my stuff and they're buying up, like they're going onto eBay and looking for, you know, all the stuff that they missed, you know, because they weren't even aware of it, you know, kind of, yeah. I don't know. I think it's interesting,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm glad that like there's still like, cause like, you know, I mean, I remember like maybe it was like 5 years ago or something like that. There was like all the speculation that like, oh, you know, people are going to stop collecting physical things because they're going to be collecting digital things or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
you know,
Wow. Yeah.
but like, you know, we still live in a tactile world.
Sure.
You know, we still want things. You know,
Yeah.
we don't want to. We want to decorate like the empty spaces in our fucking living environment, in our environments. You know, with little objects to kind of like help share our identities with other people.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
people will always be working in some kind of space where they want their, you know, like whatever inspirational little objects and whatever it is, right?
Right.
That's always going to be there. I mean, there's like, I went to, what is it? The Fandango, right? Their offices. And it's like, man, everyone had Funko Pops and toys all over their, you know what I mean? In their cubicles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's always how I looked at Funko Pops. Maybe because I've always worked at a studio, but I've always looked at them as the toy that everyone has in their cubicle when they don't want to commit to anything bigger. Like, for example, say if Nacho Libre is your favorite movie and you can't afford the Enter Bay version, and you would never spend that much money on that. I wish there was an Enter Bay version. But, like, but you would buy the Funko version just to have at your desk as, like, you know, when you get laid off, you throw it in a cardboard box, you take your box somewhere else. But, like, it's almost like the thing you have on your dashboard or, like, you know.
But it's also a thing that it's like, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to get stolen, but if you put all your best shit, you shouldn't take your best shit to work.
Not unless you have an office,
But still, even that, that shit should be at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's like something that's got a value or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't even have that there. So Funko Pop is the perfect thing to put there.
So
it's
if
$10.
So if your boy Cause,
Yeah.
so if your boy Cause brought out like little companion like Funko Pops, that kind of would be like selling out a little bit. What do you think?
No,
No?
because he's part of the pop culture lexicon, and it would make sense in my eyes to have a cause companion, you know, Funko Pop.
Oh, but not like his Cause companion Astro Boy,
Fuck that shit.
you know, Funko Pop. You know, like an Astro Boy with the X's on it, Funko Pop.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Fuck that Smurf fucking X-eyes fucking
Or what
bullshit.
about
Fuck that
what
SpongeBob fucking X-eyed bullshit. Like, give me a fucking break.
What about an
Hating on
Elmo?
the man. Hating on
What
the
about
man.
an Elmo with the X in his Funko style?
You know, it's called Uniqlo.
Yeah,
you know,
alright.
fuck that shit.
Damn.
The hater.
Yeah.
Hating on good old Brian Donnelly.
You
What's
know
he
what?
ever done to you?
Mr. Brian Donnelly.
You know what? He's made me feel small.
I think he's done that to everybody, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm fucking like, you know,
He's fighting
I
back.
take issue with that. So look, I like the companion. I have a fucking companion. Fucking
What
sitting next to my
what did
TV.
he do that made you feel small?
Snoopy. Fucking, that didn't make me feel small. That just fucking crossed a line that I did not find acceptable.
What, the
Snoopy.
Joe Cool toy or just Snoopy
Just
touching that property
Fucking
at all?
just touching that property at all. Like, you could fucking, like, you know, fuck SpongeBob in the ass all day long. I don't give a shit. You know, you could do the fucking Smurfs all day fucking long. You could do fucking the Simpsons all day fucking long. But once you fucking like touch something that I, you know, love, genuinely love fucking Charles Schultz's Snoopy and Peanuts, he's just crossed the line.
I'm a big fan of Peanuts. I have
Me
to say,
too.
I'm a really big fan of Peanuts. I didn't mind it too much. I thought he could have done more with it, but I didn't mind it too much.
He never. That's about
Yeah.
what he's gonna do, right?
and that's
I mean,
totally
I'm surprised
fine.
they let him do that, with the X's, but I don't know, I'm a sucker for that shit. I was like, cool, and I bought it.
What? Okay. What if they do a Cause Gundam? What do you think of that?
Fuck that shit.
Oh, okay. Like you could buy a model kit, and then there'll be little X's you got to put the sticker decals on the eye.
First of all, the eyes are too small in Gundam. Second,
This is gonna
Not
be
if you replace the whole head with just the companion head.
with a Gundam body. That sounds good.
Thomas Hahn says something. He's,
Thomas
tell
Hahn.
Kano and everyone. And he says, "What's up?
Oh,
Love the
okay.
new
What's up, Thomas?
toy. What's up?" And something live. The new toy. He loves the bust.
Oh, thanks.
I love the bust. I actually like the real subtle, Transformers, reference that you had in the boombox. That was
I just
that
kept
was,
the colors.
Yeah, that was cool.
Thank you.
He says lol Brian Donnelly, and he says
What do you say, lowball Brian Donnelly?
It says lol laugh out
lol.
lol Brian Donnelly,
Oh.
and tell them I back you on that. Thomas has got my back on the fucking Brian Donnelly shit.
Listen, man, if Brian Donnelly was Asian, you guys would love the shit out of him. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it,
you don't
bro.
even want to fucking hear this.
I don't even wanna hear it. You guys-
No. Look. I do not have any hate for the fucking.
Well, he's married. He's married to an Asian and has.
Oh, that makes them hate him even
Yeah,
more.
he has a kid with a.
Oh,
he has a
man.
kid too. Yeah.
I don't
What
give
in
it.
your face?
I
Married
don't-
to an Asian.
I'm not. I am not. I have no problem with fucking. I have no problem with that shit. Like that's fine. White boys can
man.
fuck all the Asian bitches they want. That they
Man.
want. But the thing is that I like. I like.
Why they gotta be bitches though? I mean,
I'm sorry, ladies. I was just speaking out of
Passion. Passion. The passion of Luke Chu.
oh man.
But no, look. His companion shit I thought was like he's even really as of recently even released some interesting stuff, and but there's just some things that I'm just kind of like, you know what? I don't fucking care for it. I think that the fact that he's selling shit at stupid money is ridiculous. Especially like these fucking super huge fucking companions that are made out of fucking vinyl. Like, come on, man. Like, if you're fucking throwing that kind of money around for a vinyl figure that's going to collapse on itself on its own weight, you're a fucking idiot. So,
Maybe he's got a lifetime guarantee on that.
Well,
stuff or something.
I feel like he gets a bad rap because he's not selling that. Other people are selling.
right.
You talking about the 4-footers? He sold those a long time ago. He's not responsible for what people are selling them for now.
No,
Who's
I know.
buying them.
I'm not, and but the reason why they've gone up, the prices that they have are simply, it's all secondary market shit, like auctions and stuff like that. And I just think the hype machine is fucking, I honestly think a lot of the work is just, I don't know, I find it to be overrated.
Dude, but at this point, the guy's been killing it for so long. Can you really say it's still a hype machine?
Yes.
I mean, 10 years ago, people were like, it's going to be over soon. Good luck with those prints. Like, what? He's still killing it, dude.
Hey,
I don't really think-
he got even big. It's,
I
I
respect.
don't think he's
it's big.
going anywhere. Like, dude, I think
I'm not.
it's like
he's not going
That's.
anywhere.
I'm not saying that he's like fucking going to disappear.
because
or
the
anything
hype
like
thing
that.
is usually for artists that go up, the hype, and then they go down. But the dude, he's kind of like an enigma in that regard.
Sure.
It's like, I don't know. That's just, I don't know.
I don't know. You know what?
You could go camping with him at Mount Fuji.
Oh, that just happened. Yeah, the weekend.
Yeah,
You
dude.
could have gone
With the-
camping with Cause with that big inflatable in front of Mount Fuji, and you could have been in a tent.
In a tent,
And Futura was there, I think. Futura was there, right? I think he was there.
Future was there, and I
See?
think Lev got a little mad at me when I saw him at Comic-Con. he was at a booth, and I was like, "What's up, dude? Why aren't you camping with Cause?" And he was like, "Oh, fucking work at Comic-Con. I have to be here." I was like, "Excuse me."
Well, I don't know. Like, look, hype. Obviously,
I'm just saying you
works-
should have went camping with him. Worked out your problems, had some s'mores.
I don't have. Look,
Yeah. Campfire. Ate some anago or something. Or
No,
whatever.
was this camp? What
It was in
the
Japan.
camping? Oh, it was in Japan. It
Yeah, it was
wasn't in
Jap-
America.
No, it was in front
Mount
of
Fuji.
Asia.
It was in front of Mount Fuji, and he had a giant inflatable laying down, a companion,
I saw
and
it.
you camp in front of that. It's Mount Fuji.
I have to say I love Cause and all his stuff, but that pose for that companion, it looks like he's having menstrual cramps or something. It's like,
I didn't. I only saw like a small thumbnail, and I was like, scroll.
I haven't been a fan of some. I haven't been a fan of some of his stuff, like the plush stuff. I'm not really big on.
No, yeah.
Oh, the
But,
Mount Fuji plush is kind of like not really greatly designed. You know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did see Futura was there. Like all of the heavy hitters were there. Stash,
those
Futura,
those heavy hitters.
Cool.
those
Good
heavy,
for
East Coast,
them.
East Coast.
Good for them.
Do you like him? Do you like him because is there an East Coast bias though?
Dude, I'm like that. Yeah, I'm very much East Coast with everything. That's why I like Futura. That's why I like Cause. I like all that. All that stuff I was a big fan of when I
Well,
first
I like
started.
Futura. I mean, like Futura in my eyes is like a real fucking painter, But like, I don't know. I think I see a bunch of fucking idiots fucking rallying around fucking Cause, and it just fucking makes me sick.
Come on, that's haterism. That's all haterism.
Oh, I never said I wasn't a hater. I'm allowed to fucking hate.
Sure, yeah,
and
absolutely.
and I'm
100%.
using this, and I'm using this venue, though it's not really fucking like doing much for us and the numbers to fucking like.
Well, now you could hashtag Cause and like people will watch it.
You know what? I have no interest in fucking promoting his shit at all. I have no interest in promoting his name or his brand.
I like a lot of New York stuff. That's where I.
Now, when did you move? It's like a decade ago.
Dude, yeah. Next year it'll be 10 years.
I was
Wow.
guessing about
Next
that.
March will be 10 years. I've been out here for a while now.
So, what kind of stuff did you do in New York before you came out here?
Sell drugs. Nah. No, in New York I did like I've always worked in animation, right? But in New York I was doing stuff like I was just starting to design toys and do graphics and design having like stuff that I was doing for clients, like I was doing stuff for Nike and stuff. And then when I moved out here I started getting more like funny enough, like I started getting more stuff to do back home. Like I just watched the Buff Monster interview, and I had this sort of reverse stuff, where like I moved out here, and then it opened up doors for me here, but it also opened up doors for me in New York. Like once I did a couple of high-profile like things, clients over here, then I got some calls from New York, like, hey, now that you do that, do you want to do this? And that's how I got certain things, certain walls, and certain opportunities in New York. It was interesting.
What part of New York were you from?
Queens.
Oh.
Yeah, I grew up in Queens. Born in Brooklyn. Yeah, man, it's been good to me. LA's been good. I've been in Burbank the whole time. Worked in animation studios, and so yeah, I mean, whatever I'm doing right now, I started in New York. And now
What
it's just-
animation studios are there in New York? There's small ones.
all right, I forgot. Eric doesn't know much about New York,
I-
even though you
Neither
had a
do
store
I.
there for
I had
like
a shop there for 6-7 years, something like that, 6 or 7 years.
So there's a lot. There were a lot of animation studios in New York. There was an animation studio in New York called Curious Pictures that I worked at. They did an animated show for Disney called Little Einsteins. It was for little kids and stuff. So I animated on that show. 4Kids Entertainment was in New York. They did a lot of the dub overs for Pokemon and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they also had the Turtles property for a while. So I worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with them. And then Venture Brothers was done out of New York. Still is, I think.
Oh, I love Venture
So
Brothers.
I worked on Venture Brothers back in the day, and Nickelodeon, MTV Animation.
That's right.
And a couple of more commercial houses, and that was pretty much it. Sesame Street had like Scholastic had a studio,
Oh, cool.
so things like that. It's more preschool stuff in New York. Yeah, so I was working on all that stuff in New York, and then started doing toys back then, and then led to me moving out to California.
earlier before we started the podcast, you're speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
Is that your first language?
No, English and Spanish I learned both at the same time.
Where are you from? Do you have an interesting backstory of at least just genealogy wise?
Yeah, my grandfather is Cantonese and everybody else is Ecuadorian in my family. And then I'm born here.
Oh, you're born here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't speak Chinese, although my grandfather was Chinese. I just speak fluent Spanish. So yeah, I had an interesting childhood in New York because it was like I was too hood to hang with the Chinese kids, Asian kids, and I was too Asian to hang with the Spanish kids. So I ended up just growing up with, my neighborhood was black, so I just grew up like that. Yeah.
So you're actually half Ecuadorian, or are you 100%?
Yeah, I guess I'm 75%.
75%
Yeah.
Ecuadorian.
I think I'm.
But you look 100%.
I like to consider myself an Afro-Latino, if that's such a thing.
But I think you look more Asian than you look. I don't even know what
Dude, everybody just thinks I'm like in New
Right?
York. Everybody thinks I'm Chinese,
right.
And
right.
here, everybody thinks I'm Filipino. Like that's just how it goes. I don't know why.
Yeah, I figured that you were like at least mostly Asian.
So I didn't really grow up Asian like that. I grew up like Hispanic, you know. But it's pretty cool. Like in the last recent years, like I guess it's been cool to see like New York Asians coming up. If that makes any sense.
Like what's that?
Like it's like Eddie Wong. It's like
okay.
Aquafina. Like
Gotcha.
Asians that are a little bit
Sure.
more street and urban. You know, that's kind of like a New York thing.
Sure.
You know, so it's been cool seeing those guys get like famous, like super famous. Yeah. So yeah, enough about me.
Oh, that's plenty.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
What kind of work do you have to like sign like NDAs, you know, for the kind of projects that you're working on?
Oh yeah,
now?
but right now I'm on a series called I'm working on Ben 10 right now.
Oh really?
So that show's been around forever. So I don't have to. Like,
didn't they like? Is it coming back or?
no, they're always rebooting it. It's like their Scooby. It's like their IP that's like always coming back around.
Right.
And internationally, it's their highest rated show.
Seriously?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh,
yep.
cool.
So like they're always making toys for that. There's always going to be a shelf for it at Target. It's like, you know, so yeah, I'm working, and I don't know which incarnation of it is, but I'm working on the latest version.
Jeez, that show is like come and gone so many fucking
Oh yeah,
times.
yeah. It's been around forever. And then before that, I worked on the Batman Ninja Turtles movie that came out to video.
Oh, I saw I saw a clip of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was busy on that, and that was a couple of years ago we finished that, but it just came out recently. And then just been doing cartoons out here, and then
Are you
doing
doing like
paintings when I
keyframe kind of drawings, or
no, it's all character design.
okay?
Yeah. And then like and then I do the occasional gallery show. I guess I did that piece for Corey Helfer Gallery,
Yeah.
which was my first time doing anything for them. Because the only time I go there is like for your shows or something. So I got invited to that, and that was pretty cool. I was like, all right. And then a couple other. Usually I do a lot of stuff in New York when I have shows because I kind of know everybody over there.
Yeah.
Not super gallery shows, but like everybody who has a wall, shop, gallery. So I do a lot of stuff like that. So that's usually where I showcase. And I showcase stuff here sometimes. Like, went to Gallery 1988 once, and I talked to those. You know how they have the location that's across the street from the Golden Apple Comics?
Yeah.
So I went there one time because they had this cool show for this guy from New York that does, like, these hip-hop street signs. His name is, like, Jay Shells, I think. He takes hip-hop quotables, and then he makes street signs out of them. And he goes to the exact location that they're referencing in those quotables. And then he posts them on street signs. It's kind of a cool art project. So he had a show where he was just showing all that.
What's a quote? Like what would
Like say like something from hip hop like oh man, why can't I think of anything? but like a lyric of like okay, for example, put the money on the bag on Sawtell. Right? If they reference something like that, put the money in the bag on Sawtell. If that's like a hip hop lyric, he'll make a street sign with those quotes and the rapper's song, the rapper's name, and then put it on the corner of Sawtell, like as a street sign.
Oh, I see.
So it's like, oh, cool. It's like geographically located at where
So
they were referencing.
I left my wallet in El Segundo.
Yes,
He might
exactly.
make a sign, but I think that was referencing Texas El Segundo or something. Not
Right,
down
but
here.
like if you're
Yeah.
driving and it says "Welcome to El Segundo,"
You might
like you might see the quotable thing there,
right.
like the quote there. So
You
anyway,
didn't think I even knew what that was, huh?
no, I know you do.
Okay.
I give
All
you
right,
credit.
all right,
Come
all
on.
right, Okay. Okay. Anyway.
Come on. So anyway, so like the gallery was so I was there at the gallery, and after a couple of people left, I talked to the kid who was there, or the guy who they hired to kind of like watch the shop, and I was like, "Yo, what's up with this place? How do you get a show here?" And blah blah blah. He was like, "Well, you do a couple of our group shows," and then I was like, "All right, cool, I get it." Blah blah blah. And then he's like, and then we have this one guy who did all these group shows, and then he got a solo show, and then he was able to get a job at Cartoon Network from there. And I'm just like, if that's the ultimate goal, I got fucking a 3.5-page resume, dude. If that's the ultimate goal, like, I'm like, yeah, maybe this isn't for me, man. Like, so I was just like, I guess that's not for me.
weird.
So it's just kind of like weird, of like me trying to go someplace and then it's reverse engineered. So it's just like, yeah, no, I'm in the wrong place. But yeah, man, and just been busy out here doing stuff. It's weird too because it's like a year will be super busy on like. I had 1 year where I was doing murals like one every 2 months, like
Wow.
you know, like
Wow, that's a
corporate,
lot.
like paying.
Oh,
You
good.
know, yeah, and then that slowed down, and then I wasn't even planning on doing toys, and then that just kind of picked up again. So I was like, I guess I'm doing toys
Oh,
again.
So a question came in for you a little bit ago, and if it's here, how was Jacob Scott wants to know how was sculpting the messenger with Monkey King? Did
Oh.
you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, I don't know if he did. I don't know who sculpted it. I did
Oh,
not sculpt it.
Okay.
Monkey King had a sculptor who took care of the Monkey King, and I don't know the guy's name. I forget.
Right.
But yeah, that was cool. It was a cool project. When we put that toy out, I got nothing but love on my Instagram, and then Patrick posted it. He got a lot of hate on him. His fan base was not having it. And mine was like, yeah, represent. And his was just like,
Yeah, no,
like I know my fan base. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that toy because everyone's gonna love me for it. But yeah, I remember you trying to defend it too. It's just like people don't like politics in their toys, but unless Ron English does it, then they'll buy it or whatever.
Right. Well, his kind of sense of politics are a little like more humorous. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
You know that piece, like, I mean, the Kaepernick thing was such a weird like moment in our history, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I'm still down with it, man. I'm still with Cap, so
Yeah.
that's right.
Is he ever going to play again?
I don't think so.
Damn.
I don't think they're gonna let him play. I don't think they would ever back up. Like if they let him play, it's gonna be like when he's older. You're
that
gonna see him come out.
That's so weird. Imagine if there was an NBA player. It's like some team would just go like, nope, fuck it. You just play here. You know, like I can't see any player being ostracized
Yeah,
that far in like NBA, let's say.
it's crazy.
It's only
good.
football can they do that. It's just odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Just like he's an able-bodied player who can actually like start for a team and he's not allowed to play or he's not being able to play.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I wish I knew anything about football. Sorry, guys.
There's only thing I know is just the owners have some kind of weird network, an old boys network or something, a good old boys network, and they just shut this guy out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I don't think the NBA would work that way.
No.
I think he'd be like starting. He'd be ready to go.
It's crazy.
You know, it'd be different. Just football's odd that way.
So unfortunately,
there's a NASCAR element to it. You know, there's some kind of vibe going on.
Actually, it makes sense. I mean, considering the fact that, like, like when I think of football, I also think of like things like Friday Night Lights and like like small town, wherever, deep South America, fucking not South America, but deep South America, like and like they love their football out there,
Yeah.
So it's like what's the ratio of like white people to non-white people in a football team?
I don't know. I don't even follow football that well. I just
Yeah.
know it was about police shootings and it was a protest against that, and I was like, well, yeah, let's do it then.
Right.
Let's make that toy happen.
Yeah. Well,
I don't really care about football, to be honest. It's just
No,
like
it's a message.
Yeah.
Football's the last thing about it.
yeah.
really.
So I'm
But
just
yeah.
like so I'm like, yeah, I'm all about it.
Mhm.
The way Patrick presented it to me, And I was like, yo, let's do it. Like, I was honored to design that toy.
Yeah.
And when he was telling me what kind of vibe he wanted, I was like, all right, let's make something. I took the approach of it being a monumental statue,
Right.
where it's like kind of like just all these cool curves, and I kind of draw that way anyway. So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
When you're drawing like character designs for animation, do you usually kind of like create a different like illustration style for that, or do you feel like do you insert a lot of your own personal kind of style into it?
No, I have to be able to separate it completely. You know, it's like if I'm drawing like Ben 10, that doesn't look at all like what I draw.
Right.
So I have to purposely like, where I would put an edge or a corner, I have to smoothen that out.
Right.
It's almost like doing the opposite of what my natural inclination is.
Sure.
Because now this is a job, and it has to look like the rest of the show. You really shouldn't be able to, like, if we're on the same production, you shouldn't be able to say like, oh, Luke drew this one and
Right.
Kano drew this one.
Right.
It should look like just the show.
How did you get into like character design and animation?
Well, I had been working animation already as an animator, and then I got into character design because animation in New York, like the actual like keyframe animation, all of that stuff started getting outsourced.
Right.
So I started looking around, and I was like, well, what stays here? And storyboards and design stay in this country.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that's what I need to focus on. And just character designs allows me time to work on my own stuff.
Well, how did you get into animation?
Oh, so like animation I got into because I went to school of visual arts for illustration, because that's like the most vague kind of like, I don't know, I guess I'll
Could
just
be
go there
anything.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went
you
in.
went to SVA then?
Yeah, I went
Okay.
to SVA, and then just like Brian Donnelly
And James Jean.
and James Jean,
Esau Andrews.
yeah,
Mupan.
yep,
There's a huge,
yeah.
a
So
really great network.
So I was there, and then
Like Brian Donnelly.
yeah,
I'm not saying he's a bad illustrator.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
all right. So I was there freshman year, foundation year, and I just found out about animation as a major there, and I'm kind of like, the first thing I'm thinking of as a freshman in SVA is like, well, how do you even get a job as an illustrator? Where do you go? I don't even know anyone who does this. Like, am I gonna be someone who designs menus or greeting cards? Like, I didn't see the industry, so I didn't know where to go, whose door to knock on, right? So then I get introduced to animation, and at least like for a fact that when you finish watching animation, there's like these credits that go on forever. And I'm like, well, I have to be able to do at least one of those jobs, right? So like animation sounds good,
That sounds
because I need a job as soon as I get out of here, right? So that's kind of what pulled me into animation. And then once I started taking the classes of how it worked and behind the scenes stuff, I kind of fell in love with the labor of it. Like nothing was computers yet. So it was all old cameras and like paper. And so I kind of went, just jumped in and just focused on that as a career, and it allowed me to focus my energy into one thing. Like all I had to do was draw in pencil and worry about how good I draw and movement. So it's a lot simpler when someone says like, just focus on this and try to be the best at this one thing. Right? But then when you get out of school, computers take over and you're like, oh shit, I got to learn something new. So that's how I got into animation. I mean, I've always loved cartoons just like anybody else, but it was in college where I saw people actually doing it, and I changed my major over and got into it.
Are you drawing on tablets now?
Yeah, I've been drawing on tablets since like 2005, I think.
Wow.
Oh, so
Yeah.
have you pitched your own stories and all that stuff and gone
I
through
have, yeah. Early on when I was, like you change your list of goals like every 10 years or whatever. So when I was in my early 20s, the goal was to get my own show on MTV and have all my friends work on it. That was like the goal. I didn't see beyond that, right? So I just focused on pitching, and I got a show picked up. I got a development deal for one of my pitches, and we jumped into that. And that's kind of how I know like how things work, because I went through the ringer for like 2 or 3 years, right? And it happened at a young age. So So when I had that development deal, it was just like, I pitched it. We got going on finding writers. They got me all these writing samples for me to read and pick like a writer for it for like a pilot.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny too because they gave me Aaron McGruder's like one of his screenplays or whatever, and I read it. I was like, this shit is awesome. I want this guy. It's the Boondocks guy. I want this guy. They were like, no. We just show you that as a sample. That guy's really fucking hard to work with, and he's really expensive. So no, you can't get that guy. So I was like, fuck, man. Anyway, I ended up getting somebody else. And long story short, man, we went through everything, man. We were working on the script forever, and then like the studio closed down, and we were still developing it. Like a year and a half later, after that, all the designs and everything were done, and then management changed, and there was a new president. Just so happened to be that the president of MTV used to go out with the writer that I picked.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, in the trash.
Wow.
And that was it. Like, I was like, damn, that's all it took. Like, it's like totally out of my.
In a one sentence type of thing, elevator pitch, what was your story? What was it?
The closest thing I could come up to with my story was like, do you remember those movies that Ice Cube put out that were called Barbershop?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that, but after a while, they put out a barbershop that was a spin-off of the beauty salon next door with Queen Latifah. I forgot what it was called, but it was about those two worlds, like a DJ shop and a barbershop and all these crazy characters that were in it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's basically what it was about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah, and then like just kept working. I saw that, I kind of...
So they never made a pilot.
They never made a pilot, but because I went through the ringer on that stuff, and it took so much bureaucracy and so much like committee for me to even move an inch, I got tired of all that shit, and I felt like I just wanted to do something that I could control from beginning to end.
So you didn't secure the bag?
I did not secure the bag. I secured the bag a little bit because I got paid from it.
Well, that's a tiny bag, though.
That's a tiny bag.
That's like a sack. That's not even a bag, right?
A ball sack.
Yeah. That's what I was getting
I
at.
secured my ball sack.
Little tiny. Okay.
I walked away with my balls. That's about
Right.
it. So
Would you ever do this again, though, and start over and
I would.
pitch one more time type of thing?
I would pitch again.
Because now you're in the industry, right?
I would pitch again, but
Yeah.
it really has to be something that that I have to love. You know what I mean? Like that I'm all in for. Because the thing is, like, I mean, what I've built for myself aside from animation, it's not much. It's not like a huge thing, but it is something that I take pride in and something that I could rely on. Like if I'm working and I get laid off, then I could just focus on Kano client stuff and like whatever toys I'm producing, all that stuff. So I don't want to give that all up just to be in the ringer again of just like development. Because when you're in there, that's all you're doing. Like if I were to get like a deal or something, if I pitched, I would completely disappear like for a long
But
for a while.
there'd be some sack securing at that point, right?
Sack securing. Sack. Oh, man. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I would pitch again. That's kind of how I got into animation, and I'm still in it. It's kind of my
That's dope.
career. It kind of helps fund everything else that I create and make.
So one question came through, and Jacob Scott again asks, any chance you'll be dropping any vinyl this year?
Was that for me or
For you?
this year? I think everything's 2020. Like the Ghetto Blaster, I think that's coming out 2020.
Is that going to be a vinyl piece or a resin piece?
I'm pretty sure that's vinyl.
Oh, nice.
And all the other stuff, I'm doing some stuff with Sideshow for next year also. That'll be vinyl. And nothing new this year. I mean, I'll have stuff with me for Decon, but there'll be no new vinyls.
Do you have a booth at Decon?
I always have a booth at Decon.
Oh, okay.
But you also did that wooden thing with Lap.
That's right.
What's it called?
My good friend Lap. The toy is called Bodega.
Bodega.
And it's about 11 years old now, the toy that I designed. But Lap wanted to do, he wanted to start doing things in wood.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, I'm a big fan of this particular figure. Can we do that in wood? And I was like, sure. So we worked it out, and we ended up winning like a designer toy award thing for it.
Oh,
and
nice.
he was really psyched. And yeah, it was cool working with him. He was like on the money with everything. And yeah, I think he's doing more stuff with other people now. So it's cool.
Cool.
It's
Yep.
made out of wood, right?
All wood,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing. I mean, it's posable. It's like all carved into separate
Nice,
pieces.
I
and
remember.
I forgot what the process of that is when you print stuff out of when you carve into a big shape of wood.
Mm.
It's like I forgot what kind of laser thing it is, but it's pretty awesome.
He's got a laser cutter. Wow.
No, isn't it made like in Vietnam?
Yeah,
Right,
But-
but there's no
but-
laser cutter. There's these little people fucking.
no, no,
chipping
no, no,
shit.
no, 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 no. It's different. I forgot what it's called. It's like it's not. It's not. Wow, you're so fucked up, dude. Little people, little people.
I meant little carving, you know.
Yo,
Little
man.
like, you
You're
know,
gonna have
like,
all those Vietnamese in your inbox. So yeah, I forgot what it's called, but
right.
yeah, it's super on
So
point,
it's
super
it's
clean.
laser
Yeah.
or some kind of. Okay, I actually thought it was handmade. Like each
No, no,
one.
no, no. You could tell.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was really cool working with Lap, and yeah. So there'll be little projects like that, but that's not vinyl. That's wood.
Wood.
That's stuff that I could handle here. There might be some resin, but vinyl takes like a whole year and a half or whatever to get back into the States.
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's all slow boated, back from Asia to the United States.
Yeah.
So vinyl. It's not a fast turnaround, that's for sure.
No,
No.
it's slow actually, right?
Yeah, no, it takes
Yeah.
it takes forever. Like
Yeah.
once like we've like been talking about my next project with Monkey King, and like started the idea like a month ago. We're going to start working on the prototype on the 3D sculpting now, and that's going to take months. And then like get it to freaking China, have them fine tune it for a couple more months, and then like have them into production, which is going to take another like 3 or so months, and then like take a slow boat, which is like a month and a half to get over here.
Yeah, I never like announcing anything till like it's here.
Right.
Like yeah, I don't even like because it has to be here for you to be able to photograph it properly.
Right.
Like the factories always send you the crappiest photos. Like you can't
Mm.
really use those for anything.
No.
So yeah, I learned my lesson. I don't promise arrivals and pre-orders. I don't do any of that.
No, I don't either.
Not anymore.
I think, yeah. I mean, resins are easier to handle because you can do them here, but I like resin actually. Unfortunately, not very many people like other people like resin, probably because it's so delicate, But I always felt like resin had a good weight to it. Like I could see your bust being done in resin.
Yeah. But I mean, you know how it is, man. Some people want to do everything about vinyl. Like they feel like vinyl is the thing. So I don't really necessarily feel that way.
I think
like
Patrick said it sells better here anyway.
Resin?
I think he said that vinyl.
Vinyl,
Or
yeah.
something,
And Asia. Yeah, Asia loves
Yeah.
vinyl too. I was actually, when I was in Shanghai, I remember Adfuncture, another company that has recently been has come back, had this big, beautiful kind of like monster piece. It was huge. And like this, it was an expensive piece too, like I think a couple $1,000 or something like that in US. And this guy came up to it, was about to hand his credit card to it until he found out that it was a resin thing, and then he pulled his card back and said,
Whoa.
it's like, dude, why don't you just like the fucking piece for what it is, rather than
I would
like,
have probably done the same. There's more chance it's gonna break when you pack it and take it somewhere.
yeah, I mean, it had really a lot of sharp edges to it and stuff like that, so like it definitely is delicate, but like, like you feel the weight, like you see it, like literally it's like probably like this tall and like this big, so
Wow.
But
Damn,
anyways.
that's the biggest honey dick of all time. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, it's resin. No. Then you do that to everybody. You're like, that's vinyl. Oh, it's not resin. Oh, no. Just do the opposite all day too.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. And then like, you have the Safubi purist types, which are just
Oh, it's made in China. No.
Yeah. there's some
Taking
of
back that credit card.
Yep. Yeah.
Are you painting any? I saw you did a couple of murals like a year ago.
Yeah.
right?
Last year I did a mural, and then a couple years before that I did one. Both of them are in Detroit.
You're trying to do more stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping I think I need to get better at like kind of like selling myself out there, putting myself out there, and kind of like letting people know that I'm interested. But
You're
Yeah.
wearing a Murals in the Market T-shirt right now.
I am. I got
You
this
know?
from the first time I painted
See.
a mural.
Luke Monopoly. That's what you need to do.
So, but I'm admittedly like a little intimidated just because I don't feel like I've got like the street cred, or anything like that.
I mean, everyone could say they don't have. Like, you could say that about a lot of artists. Just do it.
Right. And
Like, just do it. I mean, like, like it's so weird with like the if you go to New York, it's like even if you have cred in the street art world, it's still like not graffiti. You're not a graffiti artist.
Right.
There's always gonna be something. So like the more you just do it, I mean, I don't know, why not just do it? I mean, you know what I mean? Like you already kind of did a couple. Like just keep it going. Like, I mean. The only thing that kind of like shakes off the haters is if you keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like just keep at it, and before you know it, like you got like a whole year under your belt of like just painting walls and just like whatever. No.
Right. Well, I mean, I whenever an opportunity comes, I usually will take it.
Yeah.
But like I think I need to get better at like creating those opportunities. You know.
Scott's really good at that.
Yeah, I should talk to Scott. I haven't seen
You
Scott
should.
forever.
You should. He seems like he's always doing something. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what got you at Detroit? How do you hook up with the Murals in the Marketplace?
They're associated with 1X Run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and I've like worked with, them for years now, and so when they first started to, trying out a mural festival, they, said, "Hey, you want to do a mural?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to do a mural."
Cool.
So, and it was funny because like I'd never done anything like that. I've never even like really used cans before, and like they gave me a wall. It was all brick, and I was just like, I'm not going to fucking fight the brick, So I like just give me fucking like cans, and
yeah,
and I just played around with it until I finally got it something that
you got frustrated. Went for a smoke.
Yeah,
I was making fun of Luke. I was like, he starts painting and he gets frustrated, paints it all black. He has to show the audience he's going through it. Walks around the block with his vape pen, and he comes back and he feels enlightened, and now he's ready to paint. It's like, come on, dude, just fucking paint the thing. Enough of the dramatics.
Actually, I didn't paint. I didn't paint it all black this year.
Oh,
And I could have. I did it.
You didn't do it because I said you were gonna do it.
You're calling me out. Well, I mean, like I like to dress up things black and kind of cut it out.
Yeah.
Light, so but I don't know. This time I decided I've learned a lot between last year and this year. Anyways, where are we at?
We're at 2.
All right,
Yeah.
Kano.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we had you on. This
Sure,
was
man.
great.
Where do people find you?
Oh, you can find me. My Instagram is Kano Kid. That's at KANOKID. That's the Instagram. The Twitter is just Kano. The website is kanokid.com. If anybody ever goes to websites anymore.
I haven't updated mine.
Yeah,
since
I mean that's where to
2011.
find me.
That's like the last ditch, right? It's like Instagram. Oh, it doesn't work.
I still update my website though.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know. I pay for Squarespace, so why not? Like, I mean that.
How
I don't know.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Kamanian.
God damn it! I never knew that.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. Kamanian?
Kamanian.
I had no
Ah,
idea.
yeah.
That's Ecuadorian?
No, that's just like I forgot what it was when it used to be Chinese and 3 syllables, but then like when my father came to this country, he didn't speak English, so he just didn't correct them. They just kind of rushed them through. So there's just like a typo, I guess. And it's I think it used to be Kit Wan Yang or something like that.
Oh.
And then
And it became Kamanian?
that's right.
It almost sounds like companion.
It almost sounds like companion. The companion stallion.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man. Yep.
All right.
Thanks for having the time to come out and hang out with us.
Yeah, this was
And,
fun, man. I listen
amazing.
to you guys all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh, I'm
Hater
this was
podcast.
great.
Hater podcast. Right?
Hater podcast.
Hater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hate that much, but you know.
You let me fucking vent it all out. You know?
Set you up the alley oop.
Yep. He did a monster dunk on that one.
Yeah. I keep feeling I'm going to be paying for it soon.
Secure the ball. Secure the ball sacks.
Secure the bag.
I'll be reaching for it and selling. This be gone because of all this shit I'm fucking talking here.
Oh man.
Or it's going to be a bigger sack. Or a bigger bag. I don't know.
Yeah,
A bigger bag.
people will be
Yeah.
like, "Bravo, Luke! Bravo!
Bravo.
Your hatred resonates with me. Have my fucking big sack of cash."
Oh man, hatred does resonate with people. They love that. They love it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love
Thanks
you,
for
cause
listening.
I really do.
No, you don't.
Camping with cause.